Hello, and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
This is Buke.
This is Jay.
And today, in the studio with us, we have a couple of hobos that Jay brought in off the street. I'm just kidding. It's the guys from Slab City, so they'll be joining us in a little while.
Good boys, too. We'll be glad to talk to them.
Yes. So, what have you guys been up to since we talked last? Anything interesting?
I went sailing yesterday.
Sailing.
It was tiring.
So what exactly was tiring about that?
Well, actually, the guy, okay, so like we paid some, but we were out for 4 hours and we paid a guy to take us sailing, basically. It's like a charter thing. And it was a legitimate thing for him to ask us to do this, but he was like, who wants to steer? So I was like, okay. And I think it's just, so I steered for a long time. And I think it's just, you're really fighting the water on that thing, man. The bay water is moving around a lot. And it's just the exhaustion of like moving all your muscles to stay standing straight up on a rocking boat. I had no idea. We got back and both Gene and I were just collapsing. So it was awesome.
Right on. Well, Buke and I had a pretty interesting Friday night. We went to see and interview Ashes of Aries at Angel's Rock Bar in Baltimore. And it just happened to be that the show was on 9/11. So Buke, with his quick thinking, interjected some questions about 9/11 into the interviews, which you'll be hearing shortly. What was your thoughts on the show that night, Buke?
Yeah, it was interesting to see a band and members of the band that we hold on such high regard playing in this area of Baltimore. There's 6 different venues, and there's each venue or bar had another band playing. So
this was in Power Plant Live. This is
at the Angels Rock Bar.
Yeah.
So they were just another one of the bands playing that night. The cool thing about it was that we were able to go get some drinks beforehand and float up there. But it was a real cool, perfect night, weather out, and kind of blew me away how we were excited. There were a couple of diehard fans there, but still, there weren't a lot of people.
No, I want to get to something about that in a minute. But I mean, there were maybe 30 people at this show.
That's crazy, man.
It was like, we were on the front. We were right up on the stage, which was about
George
6
like,
inches
hey,
tall.
Buke, look, you're stage diving. Because I was taking my foot on, off.
And I looked behind us, and I mean, it was maybe like 2 deep behind us.
Maybe.
Yeah,
things have changed, man. I honestly, and they're on a label.
Yeah, they're on Nuclear Blast, and it was really depressing to me that a band of this caliber was not drawing. It was not in a bigger bar to begin with. They could have, they should have been playing right across the street at Ram's Head Live. But here they were playing at Angel's Rock Bar, which we've never been to before, but it was a nice place. But I mean, not even a third of the room full.
But let me go back a couple hours in the day. George and I ventured up there when he got off work. They were supposed to be doing an in-store signing at a record store that George and I had never been to before called Shock Doctor Records. It was near Towson. The guy was a metalhead. Had a nice little metal section. George and I were able to find a couple good records in there.
Yep.
But they had played a show the previous night in Virginia Beach. They were supposed to be in Richmond, but traffic in this area being what it is, they weren't able to make it back in time, so they canceled the in-store signing. And George said maybe the word got out or people had come and gone before we got there. But I started to think in my head, there's not a lot of people here for the signing yet. Maybe, how's the show later going to be? But
yeah, I mean, if everybody at the show had showed up at the signing, it still wouldn't have been crowded.
I've seen a few bands in that circumstance, and sometimes big bands, where you see them without very many people. And on the one hand, it's kind of a cool, intimate experience. But these days, it makes me worry about the scene a little bit,
Yeah, I loved that we didn't have to fight and jostle to be up on the stage and see everything close up. But at the same time, yeah, you have to worry about it. And one of the things that we were talking about is it's this like complex that's all connected. There was a place right next door that it was connected with Angel's Rock Bar via the hallway for the bathrooms. It was called PBR, Professional Bull Riders.
Yeah, it's like a country bar.
And They actually had a mechanical bull in there, and that place was packed.
Yeah, fucking like all the 20-somethings were in there.
Yeah, and it was like, for me, it felt like high school all over again because, you know, I went from my area, the metal area, where there was nobody, and next door to where all the cool kids were, and it was just like all, you know, pretty 20-somethings.
And fog. Everybody looks good.
Yeah, and, you know, felt completely out of place, and there was a band outside even. There's like an outside stage at Power Plant. And there was a band there playing basically like 90s hits, you know, all cover songs. And it was slamming. You know, there was tons of people there. And I'm just like, on one hand, I'm like pissed that these people aren't here checking out the good music.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I'm glad they're not here because fuck them.
I don't get it.
I leaned over to George and I said, this kind of, you know, sums up heavy metal. There's easily 200 people dancing and watching a cover band.
That's weird, dude.
There's a couple hundred people inside the PBR playing club music, dance music.
I don't know what to say. I'm just as mystified as you guys. I mean, and granted, I've been to plenty of metal shows where there were plenty of people, but, you know, people are here when we get to our Slab City interview. It's weird. It's hard to get people to come out to shows now. And I, you know, I mean, I admit they're kind of a new-ish band and, you know, sort of building their following. But, God, the whole thing is so weird now. The whole scene is so bizarre, which doesn't help. I also want to mention, though, that Buke said they still brought it like they were playing to 1,000 people.
Oh, my God.
I will get to that. Thank you for that introduction. George and I are sitting there, and for a little club, you know, we have lamented about poor sound quality at various venues over and over again. But George and I are sitting there right at the stage. And Jay, just like you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, it was better than the frickin' CD.
I'm glad to hear that, dude.
It was amazing. Van was playing the drums like he was playing for a stadium.
And Barlow's vocals, I mean, he hit notes higher than probably he does on the album. His voice, you know, the guy has not lost a step given, you know, the fact that he's perhaps a little older now. He has not lost a thing. His voice sounds amazing.
George and I said it, like, you know, like to where any three of us would try and hit a high note and we'd be like coughing and you'd be wrecked for hours. To him, he'd hit it
and move on.
And then move on. And then go right back to it again.
You know, I was telling, that was one of the things I said to Buke after the show when he was kind of telling me about it. We talked on the phone briefly that night. And I would, just talking about the scene in general, I don't care what you think of that band. You should want to go just to listen to him sing.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you know Iced Earth, that's not to say anything bad about Ashes of Eris. You know what I mean? But man, he is one of the premier singers out there, you know?
Without a doubt. For American metal at that too. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the guys flying the flag for American metal the most. He's it. He's one of our voices.
Actually, I'm glad you put it that way because, you know, there are those, the probably somewhere between 2 and 5 guys you would say coming out of Britain that, you know, over the course of the years. Matt he's got to be a top 5 vocalist coming out of America over the years. I would think, you know?
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yes, he is.
So
incredible.
And we'll hear them here in the podcast. So George and I, before the show, we caught up with Matt again, did another 10 minutes or so. Just like George had mentioned, I did ask him about, you know, the significance of September 11th because it affected all of us. So I thought it was, respectful to ask and
appropriate.
Yeah, appropriate.
Well, and he was very vocal at the time. I mean, I know that was one of the things that led to the current path he's on.
And I asked him about that.
George asked him that. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember him talking about that in interviews. Actually, it might have been a John Schaefer interview, but I do remember that really shook both of those dudes up. Obviously, shook everybody up.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's I'm sure we'll hear it in the interview, and I haven't heard the interview, so I don't feel like I'm giving too much of a spoiler when I'm guessing he basically said that's why he's a cop, you know, because that's pretty much what I heard once upon a time.
Yep. And after that, we had I think it was probably a little longer interview with Van. We actually caught him on the stairs. We were heading out to go take our LP covers that Barlow signed for us back to the car, and we ran into Van on the stairs. He was coming back with food in hand, and was kind enough to talk to us as well.
Cool.
I'm not taking anything away from Barlow giving us his time again to talk to us, but Van was the word I'm looking for. Very
outspoken.
Very outspoken. Very. He did not shy away from honestly opening up about as you'll hear, the downfall of Nevermore.
Which I'm dying to hear, because I'm a big fan of theirs, and I'm dying to hear that.
It turns out it was Catatonic Society that broke them up.
Another one. I got a little sheet I keep, and I put little notches on it. All right, one more down.
But it was without us asking, because we never try and get like clickbait on this podcast. We never try and get that headline blabbermouth thing.
Of course.
We just asked him that. We just asked him, and he pretty much said that.
I'm looking forward to hearing it. I mean, I'm glad he was so candid.
We had a touching moment there at the end. We just passed on our best about his wife.
Buke made Van cry.
That's awesome, dude. Actually, I'm proud of you for that. And I had told Buke that night also. I said, I would. You can't not ask. I mean, you could not ask, but I think I've heard she's doing better. So So I think it was a relevant question, but we're talking about his wife. His wife has been ill. If people out there listening don't know that, of course she was quite ill, and I guess we'll all find out.
She's been battling cancer.
What was it? Was it ovarian cancer?
I think it was, but he opened up. He started crying with us, and
not like boo hoo hoo. He was just watering up a little.
Watering up.
Yeah.
After the pod, after we interviewed, turned off the recorder. We all gave each other a hug. Thanked him for talking to us. Wished him again the best for his wife.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah. Yes. Extremely nice. Extremely
cool. What does he do? Do you know what he does when he's not being Van Williams? Just curious, because we know, I think we know
awesome.
I mean, we know Matt's a cop is all, and I just was wondering if he was graphic artist or something like that. Or actually, I think I might have heard it.
Did he mention something? He may have mentioned it, George, off mic, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, I don't recall.
You know what? I'll look it up, and there's really no reason to edit this out, George, because I think I might be right. I think he was a graphic artist of some sort or something. I think he does computer things.
But again, if you are a fan of Van, or you like what you hear in the interview from him, again, he was in Nevermore as a drummer. He's drummers for Ashes of Aries. He has a project, Ghost Ship Octavius, who released an album earlier in the year. Pretty badass stuff.
I haven't heard that, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I honestly haven't.
I'll send you it on Spotify. It's really good stuff.
Please do.
So check them out. Support all these guys.
Yeah, man.
And we thank Matt for giving us his time a second time, and we thank Van. So right now, let's get into our interview with Matt Barlow and Van Williams of Ashes of Aries. Here we are. This is Buke and
this is George.
And we are joined with one of the most talked about guests and the best feedback we've received on the Metalheads podcast, one Matt Barlow of Ashes of Aries. We're here in Baltimore with him. Matt, how's everything going today, brother?
Good, man. Hit a lot of traffic. It sucked, but as traffic does, I don't know that, the only thing you can do is about to sort of laugh about it, after the fact.
Exactly. That's when we started. That's one of the first things we had to mention.
Yeah. 95 is pretty much the bane of the East Coast in terms of travel.
Yeah. So you guys just are on a quick little 5-6 city tour here. Get out, play for a little bit. How's that going so far?
Good, man. Good. We've done 2 shows so far, so this is like our midway point. And it's been good. Frog Power was really good. Had a good crowd down there. Pretty enthusiastic. Last night in Virginia Beach was okay. The original plan was to play in Richmond. Apparently the promoter overbooked, so it kind of pushed it. He found another place for us to play, which was Virginia Beach, which is great if you want to look at the beach, but some folks it's a bit of a way to travel, especially on Thursday night stuff. So it is what it is, man. We still had a good, we had some folks that turned out that were really enthusiastic, and we put on a show for them. So they paid for a show and they got one.
Since we've last spoke with you, has anything in the world of Ashes of Aries changed? You guys added any new plans for maybe putting out a new album? Any new future tour plans down the line? You were talking about 4 or 5 months ago. Anything that maybe changed since then?
Yeah, no, we're still working. We still have quite a few songs that we got we're in the works. It's just really a matter of us being able to put it together, schedule time for recording and all that. It's a lot. It's a lot to do, especially since we have other schedules, careers, families, things like that. So we do the best we can.
Traffic gets in the way of those plans too, so you have to roll with them. Hey, when we were planning to come up here today, George and I were going through our record collection, and I forgot to ask you this on the pod, but your stuff that you did with Ashes of Aries, we didn't ask you before, was this material that you maybe had inside that you wanted to get out for a while, that maybe your own band was the only way you could do it?
There were a couple songs that I used the lyrics that I had composed before that I hadn't used, but nothing. All the music was just between me and me and Freddie started the thing together, and then obviously Van added into that and made the songs even better. And so no, there was nothing that I had composed or anything like that I had ever given to Iced Earth or anything like that. So no.
Do you? I'm sure you do when you play these shows. Is Freddie and Van getting play Nevermore and you're getting play Iced Earth? I'm sure you're getting that screamed out to you every night, right?
Yeah, we do somewhat, but I think people get it. I think people understand that we want this to be a kind of clean separation, and it is what it is. We're doing what we want to do. We're gonna do a cover tonight, just to kind of throw something in there and spice it up a little bit, but it's Ashes of Aries stuff, so
Exactly.
So hopefully people enjoy watching us, play it live, and for what the ticket prices are, it's not much more than going to see a movie. So and you get a
Incredibly reasonable price.
Yeah.
and you get a bunch of bands, man, and you get Ghosts of War, which those guys are famous in this area. They play a lot, but they do a fucking awesome job. So it's really a good thing.
Yeah. What were you saying earlier about what a praise you were saying for Ashes of Aries and Matt for taking
well, I mean, the last couple Iced Earth albums with Stu on vocals, I mean, they're good. They are what they are. But honestly, the Ashes of Aries album blows it all away. And I'm not trying to I wasn't trying to stir any shit or make comparisons, but I was just saying, listening to the Ashes of Aries album is, for me, as a fan of your catalog, is much more satisfying than the last couple Iced Earth albums, as good as they are.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and that may be a thing. If you're a fan of the way that I do vocals, maybe that's it. I mean, I know that was a tough thing for Tim to transition in, but then again, there are some people that kind of came in with Tim and they like Tim's stuff way better. So I think it's just a matter of what kind of style that you like, because I mean, obviously there are different styles between me, Tim, and Stu, and even Gene Adam and John Greeley. I mean, as far as Iced Earth is concerned, there were a lot of different styles, and I think that people just have their favorites, and maybe I'm your favorite just because you kind of like what I do, and so I put a lot of that in Ashes of Aries. I probably put more of it. I used the opportunity with Ashes of Aries to really expand and do things that outside of what I had done, because maybe John was kind of pushing me in one direction because it's his music or whatever. So I just kind of used the space. You know what I mean? I was like with the cowbell. I'm exploring the space. So that's it.
When you left Iced Earth for the second time, when you came back to Iced Earth, I was like, yes! And then when you left again, I was like, no! And so when I heard about Ashes of Aries, I was just so relieved that, there was going to be more music from you one way or another. And it's so good. So anybody listen to this, if you have not heard this yet, please check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to leave on a better note, obviously. I mean, just coming in, doing a second half of a concept that was already going. I mean, obviously, I helped start that concept, so with my voice. So, it would have been nice. It was cool to do it, but it would have been nice to, do something more and leave on a better note maybe. But it is what it is, man. I still felt like the second time around I got to leave the band on a better note than I did the first time, better terms, and at least give people an explanation a little bit more so. And I think people understand. When you're talking about career, family, and stuff like that, and on both sides, not just me, but for John and what he needed to do with the band. I mean, those guys toured extensively, and because that's what you got to do to make money in the music industry now. When we're doing these shows, we're not doing it to make money. We're not doing it to go broke either. But we're certainly at least would like to break even on them so that we can keep doing it and keep putting out records and stuff. So
When you started Ashes of Aries, was there a almost hill you had to climb up, a battle you had to fight with some of these people who, in their eyes, no matter what you did, they didn't want to hear it because how dare you try and do something else? Or were people, I guess, only a fan of Iced Earth or your previous work, but not a fan of you and the band going anything to come after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, just like I said, there are those guys that were diehard, Tim Owens fans and guys that are, diehard Stu fans. And, God love them, man. If that's what they like, if that's what makes them feel good and that's what is good to their ear, then, God bless them. I mean, I can't sit and listen to a Beyonce record, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't work for my ear. But for those people that do, God love them. That's what they like, and it makes them happy. Please, by all means. So I'm not here to impress everybody. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to do what I do, and hopefully the folks that like what I do, will keep supporting, and so that we can keep making records.
I'm not trying to take a fun evening and drag it down, but this is a sad day here in the States. September 11th. You want to talk maybe a little bit about where you were on this day and how you found out about the events happening?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of, it's one of those things, those life-changing moments, man. The day, not just for, and obviously it was life-changing for everybody. But that morning I was getting my stuff together to get ready to get on a tour bus to go meet up with Judas Priest in California, and we were going to start our tour with Judas Priest when Tim was fronting the band, and so it was just surreal. So I spent, after bawling my eyes out with my wife sitting on the couch watching the towers come down, I got to get on a bus and start to travel across the country because we had no idea at that point what was going on as far as the tour. We knew we had several days to get out to California and start, and so it was like a 3-day journey on a bus. So essentially we spent 2 days on a bus. Thankfully, I guess in some bizarre way, we had satellite television on the bus, so we could watch TV and find out what was going on while we were traveling. I think we got as far as can't remember. We got as far as Oklahoma, I think, maybe, before they said everything's shut down, no flights in, out, everything's canceled, and they canceled the tour, and we turned around and went home. It was just, it's just one of those things that, you obviously never forget. Everybody who went through the experience of 9/11 will always remember where they are, but it's just that kind of that, even that more of a twist in like, where everybody's lives could have gone at that point, and who knows,
For everybody, I think. We all saw the footage of the planes hitting the towers and everything. I think it hit home so much, obviously, for the tremendous, horrible loss of life, almost 3,000. But the fact that it was something, when that first plane hit, you're thinking, was that an accident?
Yeah, I was like, what kind of? I was in a training, like computer training class at work that morning, and my sister sent me an instant message, and she's like, a plane hit the one of the Trade Center towers, and I was like, what kind of moron doesn't see a building that big in their path? I was like, but then when she told me that the second tower was hit, I got cold. I was like, that's no accident.
Yeah, we were sitting watching the news, and they had the camera on the towers, and you saw the second plane come in and hit, and I just absolutely, like you said, cold just went through my body. I started to cry because I knew at that point we were under attack, and it's just again, goosebumps just thinking about it, man.
I just did too.
The years since then, you've seen footage. You see the horrible images of the people above where the planes hit, trapped on the windows. You can't get it. Just horrible all around.
Yeah, I remember, like, the feeling of having no idea what was going. I mean, this doesn't happen here, and I left. I got up and, like, the class that I was in, I was like, y'all need to leave because shit's going down. I don't know what it is, but I'm leaving. And I went outside and I was like, looking for planes because we're in D.C., and eventually one hit the Pentagon, and it was just like, what do we expect next? They're going to be like dozens of these. What's going on? It was such a messed up day. I wanted to say, I had read somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that 9/11 actually inspired you to sort of head in the direction of your current day job now.
It did, yeah, because I really, and it wasn't so much. It was a combination of things. Just you step back and you look at your life and you say, where am I now, and where are we going? And not only just myself, but as a country, and where are we going to need? And it just got everything rolling, man. I mean, I was 31 years old. I really had no. Other than the music business, I was working odd jobs and doing other stuff, but I had nothing that was like, I was thinking my family, my future, and all these things. And so I enrolled in online courses and started, working towards my criminal justice degree, and which I still don't have yet, which is bizarre, but anyway, after all these years. But I figured, hey, man, I'm in it, so I'm kind of like living it. So I guess that's why I didn't really, concern myself with it as much. But
you look at the current world we live in with the ISIS threat and all this stuff. This is the world we live in now. And just like everybody who joined law enforcement, joined the military at that time and after, shows a lot about your character that, hey, you see the world that we live in now. And when you put on the uniform every day that you are, without them caring about your family, your children, you're just another possible target for them. So it says a lot about your character, Matt.
Yeah, and I got to say that means a lot to me. I mean, when I heard about that, I was seriously impressed with your character. So I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
So, Matt, unless I don't have anything else, we'll let you get in there, hang out with the band, hang out with the fans. Anything else you want to say? You're wasting away to bones.
Grab something to eat.
Rip our faces off.
All right.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, Matt. Truly. Thanks again for everything.
Thanks, guys, for coming out.
Okay, this is Buke and George, and we have stopped the fucking man on the skins himself. Yeah, I know. Talking to the Don King. Van, how are you today, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We are doing wonderful. We were all lamenting about the traffic situation and how bad it is coming down here. So we were just talking to Matt earlier before we talked to you. Here he is. Matt, Van wanted to say something about the Don King.
I was going to say, that's the robot. That's the Don King robot, right? We had another robot. Remember, we had the RTD2 with an afro.
Yeah, the afro for doing the room mic stuff. Yeah.
That's the Don King. I just had to.
He is back again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's
Thanks.
All.
That's all he wanted.
Whenever I need facial hair, I just go like this.
The flavor saver.
Score.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Okay, so Van, not to start off on a sad subject, but this day here in the States is a tough one. It's September 11th.
Yes.
Remember where you were when that terrible day happened?
Yes, I do. We were in California. I believe we were on our way to Anaheim. We're on tour with Sabotage, and we were at a hotel somewhere, and we heard the news. We were at a hotel at night. I remember we were partying all night, and the sun was coming up, and I remember just going to bed, and then I was passed out in the bunk, and then Worrell came in. He was in the hotel room, and he's like, "Dude, you got to see what's on the TV. Come on!" And he woke me up.
Like, no.
I was wasted. I got up.
Alone.
I got up. I went into the room and looked at the TV, and the towers were on fire and everything. And I'm like, he's fucking with me. It's like some TV show or something. I'm like, I'm going back to bed.
It's like Sharknado or something.
I didn't believe. I was too. It was morning now. We were partying all night.
Like 7.
We drove. We played. And it was surreal. So I didn't believe it. I went to sleep. I woke up again a few hours later, and everyone's still scrambling around, calling home, because Sabotage from that East Coast too, So that's where I was. And once I realized what was happening, I called back home, and I have cousins that are police officers that were involved. One of my cousins is in Time Life magazine. They're carrying somebody out. It was horrendous.
Coming from the Bronx, did you tragically lose or know anybody who lost their life on that day?
I did not know anyone that lost their life on that day. My wife's brother actually worked in the building, but he was not going to work that day. He was
Crazy.
He was on his way in, but then he got a call to go to somewhere else.
Crazy how those things happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy creator, was supposed to be on one of the first or second flight that hit, but he overslept.
Yeah, so was Bruce, the Caps old coach. He was booked.
Bruce Boudreau.
Bruce Boudreau was supposed to be on there, and he missed his flight.
Yeah. It's just crazy how those events happen.
Oh, man.
But, like we were just talking to Matt, when us on the East Coast, when we were watching live, I remember I was in college, you see the first plane hit and you think, man, it's just a rookie pilot.
Right.
But then, you're watching the news, and you see the second plane hit, and you're like, my God, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And
I figured it was like a small, like, two-seater plane or something. Like somebody wasn't paying attention and they screwed up, and because those things crash all the time.
Yeah. You'd think it was an accident, but
Yeah.
it's just horrible.
just tragic. So, the years since then, we're in Nevermore. It's all on the internet. We're not going to bother you about getting into the details of that, but your relationship with Nevermore has since ended for the time being.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It basically came down to, it wasn't anything musical. I think we're all on the same page musically. We all like the same stuff. I think we all love the band. It was just internal issues that we couldn't come eye to eye on. I think all four of us. Worrell, Jim, myself, and Jeff. And it was just time that Jeff and I felt at the moment that we had to walk away, because it just seemed like we couldn't talk. Our communication between the four of us really was like gone at that point. So, you have to do what you think is best. If you're not having fun, you got to do something.
In a time where bands aren't, it's very hard for, that better than, of course, we do who aren't even in the industry, where this is not a living for most people. Was it hard to take that for what the future, you didn't know what it would even hold?
Absolutely. That was our life. I was doing that for a long time. Those guys were doing it for a long time.
And Nevermore is one of those bands that when people say, hey, who are you a fan of, or name a metal band, it was one of those, boom, but it's mentioned as one of the top.
Well, I always believed that we were a great band. I'm not to toot our horns, but I thought we actually had some commercial potential songs,
The River Dragon Has Come was fucking amazing.
There's tons of them that could actually be played on the radio or something. I don't see what the problem was, how we never could break that cusp of getting larger. But it could be because internally we weren't pushing enough, I don't think we were working as a team. At some point, we stopped working as a team, and it just collapsed. And it kind of ended ugly. And it's just till now that we're starting to talk, where I talked to Worrell a couple of times, he's called about my wife, and, and I do care for those guys. I love Worrell, he's still one of my people that it's been a part of my life for a long time, so, but it ended badly. He was pissed. I don't know if he's still pissed, because we talk, but it just wasn't a good situation at the time. I know he said a lot of bad shit. Well, fuck the drummer or whatever. But I'm a bigger man than that. I can just say, you know what, whatever, man, and I'll walk away, because I don't want to have to go there. That's all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For us being the fans in this internet age we live in, it is so easy for any band, you, Worrell, or somebody, to take a quote. It can be typed up, fucking Blabbermouth is famous for it. They're not even relevant anymore. But you can take a quote, you can spin it any way you want, and it can go fall on either sides. When that was happening, did you even go online at all to read into any of that? Because you knew better than what was being said online, what was happening.
When I read that he said, Well, Jeff, was left, but I don't really care about the drummer or something like the drummer.
I do
it's
remember
like
that.
it's really kind of, it is a shot, and I could see him saying shit like that, and I took it personal, and I did respond in an email or two online. I went online and I said, hey, whatever, time has come. We got to do what you got to do. I wish the other guys luck. I choose to take a higher road than sit there and badmouth him.
Yeah.
Because he's pissed at the moment. He's going to say stuff. That's fine. If I get pissed in the moment, I'm not going to go online and say it. I'll tell you. I'll call you up, or I'll show up at your fucking house.
That's because they're from the Bronx.
You know what? My fucking Aunt Ada, she walks around with an ice pick, brass knuckles. We handle things differently. But I got to control my shit. I got family. I'm a grown fucking man. You don't. If you touch me, we got a different problem. He never put his hands on me.
Wait, you're getting fucking fresh, George. Stop. Get your fucking shine box.
So how did you get hooked up with Ashes of Aries?
Well, the band ended, and then I was home for a while, and Matt called me up. I've been friends with Matt forever, and since Iced Earth, and we toured. And he's like, I'm working with Freddie. Freddie left Iced Earth, and we're working on material. You want to check it out? We'd love you to have some drums on there. Like, send me some stuff. He sent me some tracks. I'm like, cool, let's do this. I recorded some stuff, and here we are. So, we're just doing it, man. Yeah.
In this, digital age, and we've mentioned this on the pod a lot, it blows us away how you guys can be in all separate locations. And it's like you guys are in the same room all the time. We've never talked to a drummer on the pod yet. Is that with timing and stuff being so critical to what you do? Is it a little harder not being in the same room when they're sending material back and forth to you? When maybe the instant feedback for you may be a little different than a bass player or a guitarist?
No, like Freddie will send me, guitar. Freddie plays a little drum, so he'll send me like rough tracks of his ideas. But I always have him send me stuff without drums so I can have a fresh idea before I hear anything that he's doing. I don't want to poison it. So it's not really difficult. And I think we're all, I don't want to say pro enough, but I think we should be pro enough, to learn the material, get together, jam it, and then it should be okay. It should be easy. So that's pretty much what we did. He lives in Pennsylvania. Freddie's in Arizona.
And you're in where now?
In New York, upstate New York, yeah. So we just send shit back and forth. They'd come over, stay for a weekend at my house. We jam out in my studio downstairs, and then we take off. So it's not that bad.
So cool. We were talking with your time with Nevermore. You said you felt you had a lot of possible radio potential. One album you feel was your favorite or your top? I thought your work on Dead Heart myself was just amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know what? I really love a lot, or if not all of the records. I don't think we ever put any music down that was fluff material. Like, oh, put that at track 8. Who gives a fuck? I think we all truly believed in every song. Favorite album at the time really was Politics of Ecstasy, maybe, because it was the most experimental record where we can, like Jeff and I basically were working together on parts and really trying to do a little bit more wacky outside the box type things. So, and Pat O'Brien is on there too. It was just a weird time, but it was a great time. So I always, that's a special record for me for some reason every time I listen to it.
Now, it came out this week that Sabbath has announced their final tour. Again, just like with the last tour and the last album, Bill Ward's not going to be on it.
Right.
It's a travesty, I think it is. Isn't that pretty sad?
I think it's a travesty too, But there's two stories that he's not able to do it, like he can't play anymore, and then there's the side where Sharon's a dick and doesn't want him to play. So I don't know what story is to believe.
I've heard like his cut wasn't equal to everybody else's, and he says he wasn't going to.
They wanted to dog him on pay,
This is if this is the true last Sabbath tour, get it together and just work it out.
I don't want to go see Sabbath, honestly, because of that reason, because I was tending to believe the version that he was getting gypped out, where he's a real guy, he's the guy, man. Have him in the fucking band. It's like Kiss going to the, to the the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Ace and Peter.
and you don't want to go on stage with Ace and Peter. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with
What
you?
is wrong with you?
Those are the songs that made you Kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, what kind of arrogance is that? To me, it's shocking. So,
Okay, we see so many bands today, Entombed most recently. They break up. They have a horrible breakup. What if there was a Nevermore AD without Van on drums?
hey, I think that would be okay if it works out for them. That's fine. I mean, Worrell's out doing the Brazilian things. He plays on his own. I don't know if that would be a decision I would make as a singer of the band. I would be like, all right, what happened in the past? Maybe there's something I did. Maybe it's something everyone did. But let's come to the table and work it out, because to me, it was a band is a special band, is the members that were in the band. You can get everybody to play your shit, but it's like karaoke to me. So if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But, you know, I mean, Jeff has some opinions on it as well. But it's the same thing. Everyone's going to do what they're going to do. So what can I do? I can't do nothing about it. You want
What a great attitude.
I mean, we left the band. I get it. Jeff and I said, you know what? We left. But there's a reason why we left. We didn't just wake up and say, you know what? This is so much fun. Fuck this. I'm out. You know?
We're in Nevermore. We're in like in the metal world. We're a household name. Yeah, we're just gonna leave now.
We're climbing the ladder. Let's just quit. You know? That's not how it goes down. Yeah. So whatever people like and they want to go and see the show, that's fine. Go see it. But to me, it's not a show if it's not the band. And if everyone's still alive, maybe you should try to at least fix the relationship, and then we can move from there. But that hasn't come across yet, so I'm not going to hold my breath on it.
You look at the Pantera guys. Vinny and Phil say Vinny says, as long as I'm alive, it's never fucking happening. But they have their own hatred for one another there.
Right. Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
I don't think anybody can feel for Dime, maybe Zach Wild, but that's a podcast for a different day.
You
don't think so? Did you ever have the honor to meet Dime?
I never met Dime, no.
Never met Dime?
No. I have met his brother, though. It was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, but no. I haven't met Dime.
Being a drummer, what do you think of what Neil Peart does?
You know, Neil Peart, I grew up on Rush, man. I love Neil. And I've listened to every Rush record.
I have to ask. Because
Dude, I listened to Rush all my life. Yeah. I loved it. And I still, if I sit down, if I'm playing pool with people, Jacob's Ladder's on or something, I still fuck up in that middle section. I'm like, you know, the doom, da, doom, doom, da, da. You know, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I never studied it, but it's so great. But I kind of love not knowing how to really do it, you know? There's something about that.
There's a mystery
It's
left.
still magic, man. And Neil is always like, look at that, dude. I got goosebumps. I talk
he
about
does. Look at this.
Rush.
Rush
I love it. I mean,
Rush bumps. Yeah,
dude, I got Rush bumps.
That's crazy. No, because I guess me not being a drummer, he gets into his solos sometimes. And I'm like, for the first couple minutes, I'm like, yeah.
He thinks Neil's overrated. I have not been able to break.
I didn't want to say that.
I disagree. I disagree.
I guess I can't appreciate it.
You know what? Everything Portnoy does, it's directly related to Neil. I think a lot of people, prog stuff is all directly related to Neil somewhere along the lines. You know what I mean? What I do is directly related to Neil. Even though I don't play anything like him, I'm totally connected to him because he made me want to stay playing drums. You know?
You and Mike friends?
Oh yeah, I met Portnoy on the Gigantour. Great guy, seemed like a real nice guy. You know, we hung out a few times, you know, with everybody on tour, but you know, we've never like hung out like, hey, let's go shoot the shit and drink beers.
Apparently, I heard you left Dream Theater because you didn't want to play Pull Me Under another 1,000 times. And no, I'm just. But those prog, let's admit, those prog guys are a little the fans. We're not really prog fans, but we have one of our friends who's a good prog fan. They're a little out there, a little bit.
Yeah, particularly John, man. He's just fucking weird.
One of our friends saw you guys at Prog Power this past week. Okay. Said you guys were amazing, but well, you think you played well?
I know nothing. I say nothing.
Okay, so we'll let you go here. But what else can we expect from you? Any other side projects? Anything you're working on?
I'm doing this project called Ghost Ship Octavius. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yes, you are. On Bandcamp, we got it.
Okay. Well, it's closer to a Nevermore style. Yep. So I'm loving that. Adone, actually, the singer and guitar player for that band as well, is playing for us for Ashes. So if you the guy with the real long hair. That's Adone. He's the singer for Ghost Ship. So I'm doing that. We're working on and getting a tour ready to come out hopefully by November, hopefully. And just get going, man. We got the record out. Matt Wickland's selling CDs right now at Prague Power. So he's like, I sold out of all our shit already. I got another day to be here. I'm like, that's awesome. We're not even playing there. It's great. So I think expect big things from that band. Ghost Ship is going to fucking rise.
It has made, I've seen it on, what was it? Yeah, one album before, right?
That's our first
What?
record.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
Couple
It
months back.
just came out a couple months back. It was making a lot of lists already for like album of the year on a bunch of stuff.
We haven't had any bad talk about it yet, so I'm very happy about it. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And Ashes, we're working on new stuff as well. So I think it's going to be a good year. Got a lot of good stuff. My wife's doing a lot better. So a lot of positives on the horizon, and I'm just trying to look at the bright things instead of all the negative things, you know?
In closing, Van, I wanted to also say it was very nice to see where the internet can be a very harsh place. It was nice to see, because where people can hide behind a username
Absolutely.
or a meme.
Absolutely.
It was nice to see the responses, the hundreds of them for your wife.
Yeah.
And us from the podcast here, we truly wish her from the bottom of our hearts the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
We truly do.
You know what, dude? It's like the most humbling thing ever. It's the most horrific thing ever. It's hard to do, to put your shit out there, but, you know.
Did you obviously made the decision too. May I ask why?
Well, honestly, if we didn't do the crowdfunding, we would have been kind of fucked, man.
Really?
There's some major bills that come in, dude. I mean, you look at them, some of them are like huge numbers. And also we have a house, you know, we got mortgages, like everybody does, you know, but it was really like, how are we going to pull this all off, you know?
Shows you how fucked up the healthcare system is for so many people who go through it like that. I don't care if you have insurance, no insurance, it's people need help. And the costs are so expensive.
She has insurance that covers stuff, but some stuff it doesn't cover, you know. So it was a necessity to do, to ask people to, you know, if they can help out, that'd be great. And we had an overwhelming, I think, response. You know, we asked for 15, or we didn't even know what kind of number, because we never been in this situation. And the love that came through, I can't say more. I mean, you know, we'd look at the screen and cry, you know?
Just me looking at seeing strangers giving hundreds of dollars, powerful. It gets me a little choked up. Van, you're truly one of the best in the business, brother.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, man.
All right, and we are back. That was Matt Barlow and Van Williams of Ashes of Aries. Thanks again for talking to us, guys. Before we move on, there's a question that I want to pose to you guys, because whenever we talk to people in bands, particularly bands that we really like when I was talking to Thross and Blot, and, you know, when we were talking to Matt and Van, you have this natural inclination to want to just be like, you guys are so awesome. And whenever I hear myself say it, and pretty much anybody else as well, it just feels like so fanboy, like, you know, You can almost see them like rolling their eyes like, yeah. And I want to know, is there any good way to tell an artist that what they're doing is amazing without coming across as a suck ass or a sycophant or just, making them roll their eyes because they're like, yeah, I hear it all the time. Is there any good way to get that across?
I wish I knew, because I got to tell you, one of my hardest moments, well, not hardest moments, but one of the things that when we've done the pod here, I listened to the Dallas Toller Wade episode, and that's all I did was tell him how great he was. Really, all my questions were like, "You're great. How great is that?"
And yeah, I think that's actually what inspired it. Not that it was bad, but I was just like, I related to the way that you felt.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
The only thing I can really say about it is thank God there's three of us, because that kind of creates this dynamic where one of us is being kind of an idiot and like saying how great it is, and then one of us is usually kind of joking, and then the other one is kind of asking questions that the less educated, because we're not all equal fans of equal bands, so to speak. So I think that works, but I don't know. Honestly, man, I've thought about that over the years, just meeting guys. what do you do? I don't even know how to do that.
There's got to be some sort of casual, laid back way of fan of your work,
Yeah.
Something simple that you can leave it at that, but even that
Maybe
is just whatever. Of course you are. You're just saying that because you met me, there's just no good way to do it. And I guess, I don't know.
I think it's cool, and I mean, I've got no real insight on this, but it's like, we play small bar shows and stuff like that here. And when somebody comes up to me afterwards, it's great because they don't know who we are and they're just like, wow, that was really cool, man. And that is a real thrill to hear. But I can only imagine that it's massively different when 8,000 people have told you that on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And so that's the other thing is I always sort of think there's no way to really convey to them that, look, man, this is really special to me.
I've heard people say that as soon as somebody says something to that to them, they sort of disconnect because they're like, oh, you're one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand, man. I'm different.
Well, what about when you were talking to Philip Anselmo, Buke? I know you didn't interview him, but I mean,
we talked about the Redskins. I will be interviewing him next month, so
we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Well, you were smart to talk to him about the Redskins. I mean, you know what I mean? That's really the best way to do it is to kind of talk about something else. I think maybe that's how you can kind of really start to kind of have a nice conversation with somebody.
Phil is my number one interview.
Yeah. So your head is about to explode.
Yeah, that's I don't know, but thinking about it, George, when you hear reporters on TV and stuff give interviews or for movies and stuff, do you hear them mention that they're a fan? So I don't know. Not mention it.
In those cases,
it's a work relationship.
It's supposed to, those people are supposed to stay unbiased.
Okay.
We don't stay unbiased. We're fans.
We definitely don't stay unbiased.
But, it probably would be good if that was what we did. But,
who cares? It's our podcast.
It's our podcast. Yeah. We're going to be fans. It's by fans, for fans. Fuck it. Let's just do what we want to do.
Which actually, I think you got it right. That is what the podcast is. It's about metal fandom. You know what I mean? And so probably we're just accurately representing ourselves. But yeah, I wish I was a little cooler about that stuff. I wish it's too hard.
It is.
You have your little list of questions, and you do, and then you can't help but sneak in those things you've always wanted to say to that person. Like, dude, I really like the third song on whatever record or whatever.
And sometimes it sneaks up on you because I'll every time we go into one of these, I say, okay, not going to fanboy out, not going to nerd out. And then something in their response, they'll be like, oh yeah, and we did this thing with this song, and you're just like, that song is awesome. And it kind of blurts out and you can't help it. You're like, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Well, Dallas Toller Wade was a wake up call for me. I'm going to work harder on that in the future because we're certainly going to get some more people that I just think the world of, and I'm going to have to really dial it down. Mm-hmm. But I think Buke does a pretty good job. Buke always sounds to me like he's just talking to someone.
Nothing impresses Buke.
Yeah, you and I sound like idiots.
No, again, I got these interviews again, and George can never just be like, Buke, you did a good job.
I have. I've said that many times.
I'm just fucking with you.
Actually, I think I will say this. I think you've done that wouldn't be fair to George. George has done as many as you, but maybe if nothing else with practice. So
he's definitely hands down. He's way better at interviews than I am.
But I think that you've done a lot, George. Though I think you have to do a lot more people you really admire to get better at it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think you guys bringing in people that that I don't necessarily know much about helps me because first of all, the pressure's off me.
Yep.
And so I can just be more natural about it, and it just sort of puts me at ease and lets me think rationally without feeling like I'm under pressure and on the spot. And so I think that'll actually help me improve my interview game.
That helps me too. When we do somebody that you guys brought on that I don't necessarily know really well, that helps me a lot. Then I'm just like, I really have to ask questions to find out who this person is.
Yeah.
And I don't have some preconceived notions. So it is hard though, isn't it? And how nice that we've had the opportunity, I have to say, to talk to some people that we don't know how to behave around.
And we have a lot more coming up. We have a great relationship with Earsplit PR. Things are starting to take off. So
get me into that. Get me in with King Diamond, dude.
I checked the King Diamond's on their roster, Jay. So let me see what I can work for you.
All right, cool. I'm going to the show for sure. So.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be?
That would be like just under Hetfield on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping. God, I would love for that to happen.
I would have, if we interviewed King Diamond, I would have to kind of get like cocky and arrogant after that. I'd be like, we interviewed King Diamond, bitch. What'd you do?
I really do want to talk to him. I would love to talk to him because I actually I need to go back and listen to the episodes someday, but I do think I've mentioned Merciful Fate on every single episode that I've been on.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And
Merciful Fate is your Opeth.
It is. They really are, and I wouldn't have known that until I got on the show. I think. Hey, you know something? Add something up here real quick. I think this is my 10th show. This is my
Happy
10th
birthday,
show.
Jay.
Oh, baby's got training wheels off now.
I knew it was coming. Oh, 10 episodes with you boys.
Didn't even get you a present.
Son of a bitch.
So, sort of segueing from Ashes of Aries, I was just kind of wondering if anybody has heard anything about Ripper Owens these days because,
Yes.
what's going on? I saw like a news article that he was like playing with some cover band.
Well, that was actually what I was going to quote two things. One was that I heard that and I'm sorry to hear this, his restaurant/bar is actually not doing well and is in financial straits.
That sucks. I wanted to go there.
Yeah, I felt really bad when I heard that. No, I don't. I have to be honest with you. I read the headline, and that was about it. But also, I watched those videos, George, from the story you're talking about. I got to tell you, I think he was either drunk or he's just not singing enough right now because he didn't sound like just magnificent Ripper.
I was,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like expecting more like Charred Walls of the Damned or something, and
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter. I think he's doing like a South American tour.
Oh,
is he doing like the Ripper Owens band?
And he does. Yeah, in Ripper, he does like an Iced Earth song. He does a Priest song. He does some of his solo stuff.
Because I was looking up on the Metal Archives, and he hasn't released anything in a while with anybody.
His first solo album I loved.
I wasn't a huge fan. I still think his high point just for collaboration was Iced Earth. I think that was the best situation for him.
Yeah, agreed.
You tend to forget, but he was with Yngwie for a couple of records.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's on, I think, 2 Yngwie albums.
Well, I mean, who hasn't, Everybody's. I've been on an Yngwie album.
So I feel like he's had like the bad luck in the metal community. I'd like him to get back into a situation like Iced Earth or something.
Yeah, he's got to do something. I mean, he's got a great voice. At least he had a great voice. And we certainly would love to hear more from him in the future. And we'd even talked amongst ourselves about possibly getting him on. So
yeah, let's try for that. Maybe we can get him started. I was listening to both of the Iced Earths that he was on recently and the albums he was on. And I was texting back and forth to you guys, and I'd forgotten that on a couple of songs, he sounds so much like Ronnie James Dio. It's ridiculous, man.
nice.
Like he really does a good Dio. I don't know if he's purposely doing a Dio, but he can nail a good Dio. Was he part of that for a while? Was he doing the Dio?
Yeah, he is part of the Dio Disciples.
Yeah, he was.
Well, I'd like to hear some of that. Now that I think about it, I'd like to hear some of that.
I saw Dio Disciples, but he was not there.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were at the M3 festival, and they were pretty awesome. It was so good to hear live Dio again.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, I hope he's doing well, and I hope he, more importantly, or just as importantly, I hope we see some good music come on from him. I'd really like to see him in a band that can use his talent the way that it is.
Yeah.
He's had some bad luck.
All right, moving on.
George, where were you last night?
I can't believe I'm gonna admit this.
Yeah. Never make fun of me again, George Washburn.
Last night, I went to my very first pop concert. For her birthday, I bought my wife tickets to see Madonna. And,
Well, let's just let that settle for a minute.
But, don't even laugh. George, where were you last night? Hold on, Jay, Skype broke up for a second. George, where were you at?
Madonna concert. All right. And
that's why he was glowing when he woke up today, Jake.
well, to be perfectly honest, let me get to this. I'm gonna do the pros and cons of going to see Madonna. There were a couple things that annoyed me right off the bat. First of all, okay, the show was at Verizon Center in DC, and we stood in the short line outside to get in, and they started letting people in, and there's a metal detector. Okay, what is this?
It doesn't go off for this pussy going to the Madonna show.
Oh no, I'm so metal. Of course it went off. But it completely slowed everything down. It took forever to get anybody in because
George doesn't know this because he tapped out of being a Caps fan. If he would have gone to a Caps game last year, he would have known how it is.
What,
Same.
they have them there now for Caps? Yeah. See, I was telling Barb, I was bitching because I was like, they don't do this for, Caps games. What the hell's with Madonna? This isn't gangster rap.
Hey, in this terrorist world, I'm surprised you can walk in a 7-Eleven in Washington, D.C. without it having to go through metal detector. You guys are a target, man.
Well, it was bad. It was really slow. And I had everything out of my pockets and I still set it off. I was like, damn, I'm metal. Turns out it was a snap on my shorts. But
being George's shorts, it was a rather large.
It was a rather large snap. So, we get in and...
it's holding back a lot there.
It is. It's like one of those Texas belt buckles,
Eventually, we make our way to our seats, and the show started shortly after we got in because it took so long to get in.
Was there an opening act?
And it said there was an opening act, and we were speculating, what would it be? I mean, like back in the day, Madonna had the Beastie Boys on their first tour. She was like edgy.
Wow. That's crazy.
So we're like, who's it going to be? Who was it? It was a DJ.
Dude.
Like a dude playing other people's music and twiddling knobs. Okay, now first I have to bitch about the fact that they had a DJ. Second, I have to bitch about DJs.
Dude, and I'm right there with you, George. I have a real thing about that.
Okay, so first of all, there's this DJ guy. He's at the front of the stage, just got his little thing. He's bopping up and down and playing other people's music and tweaking knobs to bring in a little more bass and switch it to some other sample. And I'm like looking around. Okay, we have a DJ. Is there anywhere to dance? No. The whole floor is seats. There's a catwalk that's I've never seen before. It's so huge. It was like 80% of the floor was catwalk.
George, did it stop those girls in 325 from dancing? No. Don't make excuses. When you feel the groove, you can dance.
Well, nobody did. Okay.
Okay.
Nobody did. It was a complete waste of time. He's doing this stuff, and occasionally he'd mumble something into the microphone, Madonna, and.
Was he a guy? Was he like a famous DJ? Or was he?
I don't know. I never
George,
caught his name.
At the Black Sabbath show, Andrew WK did this, and we walked in. We're like, "What?
Yeah,
did he really? That's crazy."
Yes.
I was thinking about that, and I was up above so I could look down and watch, and I was just like, "This is pathetic." Okay, whoever came up with this idea is stupid because nobody's dancing, and actually, it was funny because after he ended, there was like a short 5-minute breakdown while they rolled his crap off the stage. And during that, what did they do? They played more pop dance music. I was like, you could have just done that and saved us the trouble because it sounds exactly the same.
The sound guy had it covered.
And then after that ended, right before she came out, they played a Michael Jackson song off a Thriller. And then people danced.
That's their Dr. Doctor. That's her Dr. Doctor, right? That's the.
That was good. That was good. You're like, yes, she's coming.
I was like, okay, well,
coming on. The house lights are going down. Doctor's.
Yeah. So that actually got people moving, despite the garbage that he was pushing. So that was just ridiculous. And so, I just needed to take a side track here and bitch about DJs. What the hell is the point of a DJ? I mean, there's radio DJs. Okay, they make sense. They serve a purpose. And there's wedding DJs. They serve a purpose because they're playing the music, for people to dance to. But the DJs that are the professional, DJ so-and-so who mixes things, and they just take samples and mix them together. That's just ridiculous.
Skrillex, that's the one big right now. You can't turn your head without hearing this guy's name, and that's what he does. I don't know. I'll never get that. And some of these guys are really super successful, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just wow, you know how to twist a knob. Congratulations.
Dude, the dance music's what kids, the electronic music's what kids are listening to now.
True enough.
But you don't need a DJ to do that. Just, somebody records music and it's done. I don't know. It's ridiculous. All right. Well, I got to tell you, after that, when the show started, hands down, this was the biggest, best
concert of your life. Okay.
Performance. Okay, I didn't know much of the music, and I can't, and I'm not even going to go down that value.
Why are you lying?
I'm not.
Why are you coming here and lying?
I know, like
You knew the set list.
No, actually, I looked through the set list. I only knew a couple songs. I knew, Like a Virgin, Material Girl, stuff like that.
How many times did you turn to your wife and can you believe they're playing this?
None.
Can you believe they're playing this?
I know I'm opening myself up for a lot of derision here. I'm just going to take it. But, I mean, swear to God, I was blown away. I mean, it was like a concert inside a musical inside a circus.
George was walking out to the car, Buke, and he looked at his wife and he said, and he had a glazed look in his eyes, and he said, I didn't think she was going to do Material Girl, but then bam, second encore.
She did.
I got it.
How many times last night did you say, "You go, girl, you go"?
I know, but I'm telling you, I've never seen. I mean, Blue Man Group, Cirque du Soleil, forget it, man.
George,
the stuff she had going on, it was amazing.
George, we've been best friends going on 20 years now. You've never been this excited for any other show yet.
I don't doubt for a second that everything he says is true, though. I have to tell you, I bet you could. It is like I'm sure it's such a sonic and visual assault. That Cirque du Soleil. I thought that was pretty good. That's a pretty good comparison, I bet.
It is. And, I went in expecting to tear it apart.
Oh, sure. Hate it. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's not even going to sing. She's going to be, lip syncing everything. But it blew me away. I mean, first of all, she did mostly sing. You could tell.
How was were the fans your age, George? Most of them?
It was a mix. But yeah, there's a lot of older people.
I'd like to recommend a video on YouTube called Bruce Springsteen Drinks a Beer in a Group of Old People. You've got to see this video, dude. It's just him. And all his fans now are like 80. You know what I mean? And
this is the Metalheads podcast. George, please.
I know. But there is a reason that I brought it up, and I'm going to get to that.
Bashing. Okay.
There's a reason I brought it. I'm going to get to that. But honestly,
did you have to buy a shirt?
I bought my wife a shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you could tell she was singing because she did a couple songs just acoustically, and they were definitely rolling a lot of tape, but it was like background stuff, and there were like changeovers.
Is there a band, by the way? I don't mean to interrupt.
There were musicians on stage.
Okay.
A drummer, some keyboard players, a guitar player. She played a wicked freaking flying V. She went kind of like metal for a second, like not metal, but like hard rock for like one song.
Right.
And I was like, well, she's playing guitar. She's actually singing. But the stage show itself is what I want to focus on. There was the planning that must have gone into this thing, because it was 2-hour show, nonstop choreography. And it's not just like, I'm dancing. It was like cool, like acrobatics and stuff. They had like people on these long poles that were like swinging around, and it's just amazing. But finally getting to my point here is that I realized last night, after seeing this, metal has got to up its game. I thought that like Kiss, Iron Maiden, Alice Cooper, they had good stage shows.
Yeah.
And last night, everything I've ever seen at a metal show was laid to waste in 2 hours by Madonna's set, because damn. I mean, I realize she's got the money for it, but
yeah.
But wow, we need to step up our game.
Well, you know what? There's a news story that we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to spoiler this thing. But I have a feeling one of our news stories might take up that gauntlet.
The gauntlet being
a big, huge show, because what I've heard about this news story, and it's about a tour that's coming up.
I didn't see it in the news, but you want to roll into this, George? You want to roll into a text message we got from John about what's happening next year?
Oh, you mean the one that I went and fangirl on?
Yeah, let's just roll right into it.
But we're all excited about this, believe me, you.
Yeah, as you know, John. Hi, my name is John. Occasionally on the podcast, a friend of ours, he was down in Atlanta for Prague Power this past week, and they announced that next year, Fate's Warning is going to be playing the entire Awaken the Guardian album with John Arch on vocals.
Exhale, man.
That is just about my holy grail show. I told my wife, I was like, the only thing that could top that is if somebody told me Ronnie James Dio is not actually dead and he's playing tomorrow.
It
Well,
is
guess
big.
what? That's not happening. So this is it.
Yes. October 3rd, the tickets go on sale. I am so there. If I got to go to Atlanta, I'm there because, for me, the first three Fates Warning albums, before they were all prog, it was just metal back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And that is such a classic sound from that era. Fates Warning was one of the bands that I discovered on that early Metal Blade sampler, the Best of Metal Blade Volume 1, that it just captured my imagination. Those album covers, those songs, The Apparition and Guardian and Sorceress, Valley of the Dolls and Fata Morgana, I was talking to you guys offline about the foundation, your foundation of metal. That is that is bedrock in my foundation of heavy metal. And John Arch has not been with the band since like the mid to late 80s. They did an Arch Matheos album a little while back, but to hear this has never been an option for me.
What did you think of his solo album?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
Anything with John Arch is gold.
That was one of my favorite records that year. That's an EP. It's got 2 songs on it. It's still 30 minutes long.
A Twist of Fate, yeah.
Yeah.
God,
yeah.
it's so good. That is so. And hey, while we're talking about top 5 American vocalists, man,
Yeah.
this guy's way up there.
I thought, George, I thought you were more of a Spectre Within fan.
Awaken the Guardian, definitely the best. I've got a special connection with Awaken the Guardian. Do you ever have songs that you associate with people that have passed?
Oh, absolutely.
I haven't had any, but
there was a guy I went to high school with. His name was Jeremy Kaloji. He was a drummer. I wasn't like super close. He wasn't like one of my best friends, but he was in my circle of friends. And we tried to get together and jam a couple times, but I was like too shitty to play with him because he was a really good drummer. But one of the things we bonded over was Fates Warning. And he tragically died in a car accident. I think it was like 20 years ago this year. And when he passed, I listened to Awaken the Guardian a lot because I was just kind of bummed out. And so the song itself, Guardian, every time I hear that, it's Waterworks. It's like, Cemetery Gates, Pantera, that's my grandma song. And Guardian, it's my Jeremy song. So that whole album just holds a really special place for me.
Oh, I'm excited, man. Well, there was a couple other things going to be at that show too. I'm trying to remember what John said. I mean, there was some other things and maybe John was more excited about the other announcements, but
probably.
Yeah.
But there were enough bands there that interested me to make it a worthwhile trip. I mean, I'd go just for the Fates Warning, but I could go just Friday to see them and skip Saturday if I didn't like the other bands. But Green Carnation's going to be there, which is going to be, they're going to play all of,
wow,
end of the.
That's right. That was something John said. I'd forget. That was the other one.
We love those guys.
Yeah, that's a great album, and they're going to play all of that. So that's going to be on the Saturday. So that's going to be worthwhile just for that. I don't remember some of I'd have to pull up the list, but at least a third to half of the bands were like, cool. Freedom Call is going to be there. That's one of the power metal bands I actually like. So yeah, I hope I can get tickets to that. I don't know if anybody else is going to go. I don't know if John's planning on going.
Of course he will. I think he's gone for a number of years.
It's tempting. There's never been enough there for me to like really kind of go. I mean, but there's always something.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Falconer this year.
That's right. That was one of the other things I was thinking about. Also,
Falconer and Alicia Archers.
That's right.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them too.
John, for getting me a Falconer and Alicia Archer shirt. I love you.
Incidentally, and they always do like some acoustic thing, like the night before, and the Vanden Plas played there. That's the only time I even know about them playing in America, and I love those guys. So that guy, it's just the guy who puts that together, by the way, is some dude he's like an emergency room doctor or something, or nurse maybe. Because I used to check out that forum whenever they would announce it, and he just does it for fun.
Think of the Maryland Death Fest crowd at about 150 pounds and a superhero shirt. There's your prog power.
That was good, dude.
Well, the nice thing is that if I do go to that, my brother lives in Atlanta, so I can stay with him.
No, I thought you were going to say the nice thing is you'll be able to get merch there because they do have larger sizes.
I I would kill for a Good Fate's Warning 3X. So on the way home from the Ashes of Aries show the other day, Buke's like, "Did you hear the new Trivium song?" And I was like, I had heard that they had a new song. I had like no idea anything was coming out, and I was like, "No, I didn't know this." And he's like, "Dude,
earlier in the day, yeah."
He's like, "Dude, it's awesome. You have to hear it." And I'm like, "Wow, good." Because for me, it usually seems like every other Trivium album is not so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he starts playing it for me in the car, and I'm like, "Okay, all right." And he's keeping it cool, and I'm just listening, and I'm going, does he really like this? Because it is just about the most horrible thing I've ever heard. I always call bands, like metalcore bands and stuff, I call them Fall Out Boy bands because of their pop elements. And I swear to you, it sounded like it was entirely a pop rock song, like something that Fall Out Boy would do. The song was...
George looks at me kind of like out the corner of his eyes, like, I'm like, I don't like this. So those of you who haven't heard, I know, Trivium is not the biggest metal band in the world. They're extremely popular. They've seen commercial success. Their first couple albums I loved, but with each album since, they've been getting more and more and more commercial.
Yeah, this song.
This is beyond commercial. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like a different genre.
Yes.
Yeah, the song we're talking about is called "Until the World Goes Cold," and it was horrible,
horrendous.
Yes, it wasn't even metal.
The thing is, Jay, George and I feel it's horrendous. Is probably going to do gangbusters on Spotify and on the radio.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Now, I didn't realize there are 2 other songs out, and I haven't listened. I started to listen to one of them.
Was it the same?
No, it was different. And so I don't want to go too far down the Trivium bashing hole until I hear these 2 other songs. But that particular song was horrible. And it just doesn't make sense because Matt Heafy has incredibly good listening tastes. He listens to all kinds of black metal. I've picked up bands that he's talked about before because the stuff that he listens to is so good. And yet the stuff that he plays is so bad. I just don't get it. And
I don't either.
Buke tweeted him the other day asking, I was like, he'd been talking about doing this black metal side project that Isan was going to be producing, but it was a couple years ago, and I haven't heard anything yet. And so he tweeted him asking about it, but he didn't respond.
He didn't respond. He just followed me.
Yeah. So
I listened to it after George told me about it. I mean, the cover is kind of misleading. Have you seen the cover of the record?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool. It looks like something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, God. I haven't listened to the other 2 either, though. I will too, but...
Have you checked out any of their earlier stuff, Jay?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, which reminds me, I got to go quick shout out to a good buddy of mine who's in Houston, and I used to go to shows with here all the time. John, he's a real regular listener now of the pod, and I'm glad that you brought this up because one of the reasons John turned me on to them. I like the one where he started kind of going all Hetfield. You know what I mean? That was the one that
Crusade.
Crusade, yeah, that's a fucking killer album.
I think my favorite though is Shogun. That the lead track on that, "I'll take your fucking head." Oh, I fucking love that song, man.
But they just took a left or a right turn somewhere along the line, and they were just, I don't even know. I like them.
Yeah, but the thing is, I hate to say this because we bash bands for changing to try and become popular, but I'm telling you what happened, Jay. They saw success, and I guess what are you going to do? If you see success and you're really starting to, maybe you got to chase that.
Maybe it's the difference between renting and buying a house. You know what I mean? It could be for these guys, for all I know. I'll tell you what, they should go on tour with the Sword this year. That'd be the ultimate tour for me to skip.
Yeah. If you could just get all the bands I don't like on one bill so I only have to skip one show, thanks.
All the bands who have drastically changed their sound. Mm-hmm. Well, I listened to it at George's, urging, and I didn't like it either. And that's a little shocking. It's a little shocking because they do sort of seem like they were carrying the torch to me.
Yeah, there was a time when there was a time when I was touting them as like the next Metallica.
Sure.
When he was doing the whole Hetfield thing, I was like, oh, these guys are going to come up and, Evil was another band that was sort of that ilk, who also had this Hetfield thing going on, and they were just doing a good thrash. And I was like, this is the future of, and both these bands have just tanked. So don't listen to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Sad to see. I guess we can always remember those early ones, kind of thing. It's the same thing with, Metallica, frankly, stuff like that. I mean, this just doesn't quite reach that level of greatness.
I saw Trivium open for, was it Iced Earth? It was either Iced Earth or Judas Priest with Ripper at
the Record. That was when Trivium opened up for them, and I didn't go.
Yeah, and this was before their first album. Well, actually, no, it was after their self-released album came out. It was before Embers to Inferno. Wasn't that the second album?
That was the first.
Oh, that was the first. Shit, what was the second album?
The second album.
Ascendancy?
Yes.
Okay, so it was before their Roadrunner.
Nice pull, George, on the Trivium.
Yeah.
Man.
Nailing it.
Nailing it.
And they were so good live. It was just this teeny-ass little hole-in-the-wall club in Towson. And they sounded so good that I never buy music at a show. And I went and bought the first album because I was like, oh my God, it's the second coming of metal. And you were supposed to be the one.
That's when George and I had that moment with me driving to the show. Are we going to talk about that on the pod, George?
Yeah, let's tear them apart, man.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that when we get to new releases.
Okay, so guys, it's September 13th, right?
Yeah.
We still have 3 weeks till the Children of Bodom comes out, huh?
Yeah, what the hell is up with that?
Yeah,
didn't we get the promo like
forever,
3 months
right?
ago?
It's weird.
I feel like that album has come and gone, and it hasn't even been released yet.
I don't think you can afford to have so much lead time in this internet world,
Yeah, it's like I've already written it off and moved on, and it hasn't even come out yet.
It hasn't even come out yet.
And I'm, by the way, I'm still a diehard fan of this one. Actually, I think they hit it out of the park this year. I think you guys feel more like they're on the upcline, which is great. But I really like this record. But dude, it doesn't come out till the 2nd of October. That's crazy.
But also, we did just get a big fucking metal shotgun slug shot at us, for new releases the past couple of weeks. So
good point. And that might have been calculated then.
Yeah, they may have sent out the promos early thinking, okay, we're going to release this in August. And then they were like, oh shit, look at all the other bands releasing stuff. Let's just push that back. And so that could be what happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. But the thing is, George, with so many things on digital and Twitter, they release lyric videos sometimes months ahead of time and promos, and you start seeing the attack on Twitter and stuff months ahead of time before anything comes out. So you don't even know, did that come out yet? Have I heard that?
Repentless. That's God. I thought
that promo came out less than a week before the album. Yeah, it was like 2 days before the album dropped, and they finally released the promo for Relentless.
But they were putting out track after track after track. I mean, I think they started putting tracks out 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh yeah, I mean there was When the Stillness Comes was Record Store Day, so that was like April.
Yeah, that was April.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of lead time, and and the shelf life on a record now is like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like you don't get. Everybody buys it the first week who's the fan, and then that's kind of the end of it, which is sad, by the way. But so that's just weird times we're living in.
All right, so I meant to do this on the last episode, and I want to inject a little bit of humor here, which nobody likes my humor, so you better fucking laugh, otherwise I'm going to feel really stupid.
Is this the story you told me going to Baltimore?
No, this is the new term that I coined.
Oh, you teased with this.
Yes. And I'm calling this word bukkake.
Okay, no, yeah, that's good so far.
You've heard of bukkake. This is bukkake.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm not exactly sure of the definition of this term. I've been trying to think of something funny to go with it, but bukkake. You've been bukkakeed.
Oh, you don't have it. Okay, yeah, cool.
We need a definition for it.
I have a friend who uses Zapruder as a descriptor. He'll say, "Oh yeah, that guy got Zaprudered." Yeah, which is the film, the JFK thing. Yep. So, which actually, I think this one's not too far off of that.
I think it could be something like when Buke just goes off and he just goes on a long rant all over your face and chest.
I like it, and you know what? Everybody on the fucking pod, like a bukkake as it is. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants to get in on the fun.
Yep.
That's good.
That's going to be the new name of the podcast, actually. It's Bukkake and Friends.
So So heading to the show, George, you had me in tears. And I have kind of mentioned before that in our text messaging that the love that you, Jay, and Will and John have and the jokes you guys text back and forth, it's not me, but you guys have some love for one another. You guys make a lot of jokes.
Yeah, we're comfortable in our sexuality, and so it's not a problem to make slightly homoerotic jokes between us. And
constant slightly.
But I was telling Buke in the car ride that the way we talk on the podcast sort of bled over into my real life and didn't go over well. I was at a Longhorn Steakhouse for a going away party for a guy that was from my old job that was leaving to take a new job. And there were a bunch of people standing around, and I was sitting at a table, and I had an empty beer glass. And the guy, the guest of honor for this thing, reaches over the table to grab my empty beer, to clear it out and get me a new one. And he's like, "Let me just reach around here." And I was like, "Thanks for the reach around. I always appreciate that." Crickets.
Yeah, George is like crickets. Nobody says anything.
And it wasn't just crickets, but it was like everybody did that awkward look away somewhere else. Oh, what's that over there? Like nobody addressed the fact that I just dropped that on the table. And there was even a
jokes. If you can't make people feel uncomfortable with your humor, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, so I guess I have to start thinking a little more. I don't want to bukkake them. That's what the definition is. When you say something that's just absolutely horrible in the wrong company, you've bukkakied them.
Yes. Beautiful.
All right, moving on. So, we've talked in the past about how, or at least I've mentioned, how there's no frickin' way Guns N' Roses' original lineup is ever happening again because there's just so much water under the bridge and so much bullshit associated with that band. However, a few weeks ago, Slash just casually mentioned that he and Axl have put everything behind them and they're friends again. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to see any music, but I think we're going to see some music.
Did you read the actual article, or did you just read the headline?
I read bits and pieces. I skimmed.
Yeah, because the impression I got was he was just sort of like, I don't hate him anymore. So like, I can't remember. Or maybe I know. You know what? I better not speak with any authority. I get. On the other hand, I think it'll never happen.
I don't know, man. I think if they're even on remotely friendly terms, hell has frozen over, and it'll happen. I mean, everybody in not everybody, but the guitar player in Guns N' Roses quit.
Yeah,
that's a precursor of like, oh, the Rats are abandoning the ship because all the original guys are coming back.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I'd forgotten. I'd read that too, and that was the first thing I assumed too. I was like, oh, because that, it was like when the Kiss reunion happened kind of thing. Suddenly everybody's resigning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, moving on, doing different things. I'm like, yeah, making room for Slash.
Oh, you might be right. Ooh, that's a good pickup there.
So that's my guess is 2016, probably late 2016, Guns N' Roses takes over the world with the original lineup or the original lineup with Matt Sorum.
They could call the album Reuse Your Illusion.
Yeah. Or Chinese Democracy 2, even more democracy. I don't know. I'd like to see it happen. I would. Because I think it would. I think.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, it took the chemistry of all these people to make those first couple albums so special. Do they still have that chemistry? Can you even do it? I mean, even bands that had great chemistry and put out great stuff 30 years ago can't do it now. So I don't know. But I think if they were going to do it, I don't think they would do it unless it was awesome. I don't think Slash would do it unless it was awesome. I don't think Duff would do it unless it was awesome.
They still all have talent, though. I mean, they still haven't aged past their,
Yeah.
Like he can still sing. I mean, so.
Yeah, I actually saw that channel, was that Palladium or something, that cable channel that has concerts on it. And there was like a show, and he was kind of like fat and stupid looking, but he sounded actually pretty good.
Sounds fine.
And ever since, even when the original lineup was together, everyone was saying he sounded terrible live. That, you know, he's good in the studio, but he wasn't a good live singer. And so I never expected anything from him. But then when I saw this, I was like, that's actually not bad.
I think he probably treats himself a lot better now.
One would hope.
Yeah. And that'll kill your voice right there. So, because I actually can confirm what you're saying. I remember when they, like the year they broke out, they played on like MTV Live at the awards or something, and he sounded awful.
Yeah, I remember that.
Terrible.
A memory surfaced recently that I thought I would share. Probably because of the new Lamb of God album. For whatever reason, yeah, before Lamb of God was Lamb of God, they were a band called Burn the Priest. And back in the late 90s, when I was still using dial-up internet to get onto AOL, I'd hang out when I wasn't hanging out in chat rooms trying to find chicks, I was hanging out in metal chat rooms trying to talk metal with people. And supposedly, I actually spoke with Blackheim of Catatonia and Diabolical Masquerade. I never was, you know, it's the internet, you don't know. But supposedly I talked to him. But I did talk to this other guy who was a member of a band, and he was trying to pimp his band on me. And he said his band name was Burn the Priest.
Awesome, dude.
And I don't know I can't remember the name, so I don't know which member of the band it might have been. You know, could have been Randy, could have been Chris, I don't know. But it was definitely a member of Burn the Priest. And I was like, oh, he was like, yeah, we're from, Richmond. I was like, oh, it's not far from here. And I remember he sent me some music. He's like, check it out, man. And this was like right before I got into like death metal and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, thanks. And I was like, man, this is horrible. Oops.
Awesome.
And so I never like wrote him back or anything. And I was just like, yeah, Burn the Priest, they're awful. And so when Burn the Priest became Lamb of God, I was like, that's probably a good name change. Good for them, but I was never expected them to take off like they did. So, and Buke's just shaking his head like, you're such a dumbass.
You are such an idiot.
I know. I could have had an in. I could have been ground floor with Lamb of God.
You
Yes.
could have done. You might have had a job with him.
Burn the Priest when fucking Black Label. Oh, man. Fucking love that song.
Yeah. Well, that's like the time I had the opportunity to see Pantera before Cowboys from Hell came out. I think I've told this on here before, but I worked at a grocery store in high school, a Kroger in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and there was I was a bagger. It was my very first job. I was like 15, and there was another bagger there who had just started, and he was all metal, and he was from Texas, and we'd talk music and stuff, and he was like, "Hey man, you should come out with me tomorrow night. My friend's band's coming through town, and I'll go introduce you to them. They're called Pantera." I was like, what the fuck kind of name is Pantera? That sounds ridiculous. I didn't say this to him. I was just like, oh yeah, I think I'm busy. And I blew it off. I could have gone and met Pantera before they were huge.
That probably would have been the lame era, though, to be fair. They were a little goofy there for a while.
Yeah, up through, the hair metal through like power metal. But I think this had to have been... Yeah, actually, you're probably right. But so what?
Yeah, you're right. So what? I mean, you still could have said, or you still could have that little kind of thing in your pocket. Boy, I don't have any like that, I don't think.
So I'm the master of fucking up opportunities, apparently.
Yeah, thank God you don't own a record label, dude. You'd be like these guys.
Exactly.
They're not going anywhere.
The Beatles who? Nah, that's ridiculous.
Iron what? That makes no sense. I don't like these guys.
Yeah. All right, well...
You suck.
Yes. All right, well, why don't we move along and get into our interview with Slab City.
This week's featured band. This week's featured band. This week's featured band. Listen to this band.
It's time for today's interview, and today we've got with us some friends of mine, actually, but also a really super cool band from San Lorenzo, California, which is where our practice studio is and where their practice studio is. We've got Slab City with us. We've got Kevin Rowland, who plays guitar, and we've got Derek Dunaway, who's the drummer in this band. Welcome, guys.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there you go. Glad to have you. So they are literally sitting in their rehearsal studio, which is next door to our headquarters. So I can, and we're watching on a video feed, so I can see their beautiful sound baffling and everything in the background. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the band, members of the band, how you came about, how long you been?
Okay. Well, the band, of course, is called Slab City. It's been about 2 years in the works. Forming the band out of me quitting my last band. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Wrote a whole album just to scrap it and write a whole nother album. And found these guys through Craigslist. And
God, I heart Craigslist.
Played about 8-9 shows in the last 6 months. Got a metal festival set up for the September 19th. We have some cool stuff in October. We're playing here at our studio, the Annex, on October 3rd.
Yep, homecoming show for Hammershot's tour.
Hey, guys, you guys are is it the second group of guys we've had on now who have met their band members from Craigslist?
Yeah,
is that sort of like a hookup gone wrong, or?
No.
I think this is a.
I was looking for somebody to hook up with, but I accidentally formed a band.
But knowing everybody is on Craigslist, is there a lot of weeding through a lot of
trolls? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that capitalize on Craigslist and whore it out. It's like a flea market from hell.
Yeah, you just got to hit the "Don't Matter" button. Yeah,
Actually,
dating band don't matter. Donk.
Bear in mind, I know these guys. They didn't weed all that hard. You know what I mean? Somebody was scraping the bottom of the barrel. He's like,
we're talking about weeding now. Wait a second. I thought we were talking about music.
Did you guys get like people who are like, yeah, I've never played metal before. It's always been like a lifelong dream, or I'm a little old past my prime.
That'd be me.
Well, we got some people like that. I mean, I think the best one we got was this girl that was maybe 15 that came in decked out in her Hello Kitty gear, and her dad, pulled up in their Lexus SUV to bring her for this tryout, and we're all out there, Beardsley men, half shirtless and like sweating from the sauna room, as you see here. And I've never seen somebody pull out in reverse so fast down our driveway, leaving this place, other than her dad when he was like, "We're the hell out of here." Gone.
Because our studios are in kind of an industrial area too, so I mean it is a little bit like.
Surprisingly though, guys, meeting on Craigslist, I'm sure in this nation that's not the first time that's happened, where cars sped away from the situation really quick.
I'm sure they do that all the time on Craigslist.
Exactly.
By the way, that last voice was Kevin. I just want to identify these boys, or Derek. That was Derek. I'll have them identify yourselves so people know the difference between you. So I'm going to say Kevin, and now when you hear Kevin, you'll know it's Kevin. Kevin, what did talk about what your influences are? I mean, you're the main writer for the band, right?
Yeah, I'm the riff guru. I basically compose the arrangements and kind of just lay down the framework for what turns into a full-fledged metal song. We're black metal, technical death metal, and country all kind of wrapped together in a nice little package. And just trying something different creatively to bring to the market and kind of try to bridge a couple different subgenres of metal for something fresh in 2016.
And we're going to play some tracks here for you guys today, obviously, like we always do on the show. But I really want to say I love these guys. I'm a big fan of Slab City. The tracks that we have right now are ones that are kind of lo-fi, which is fine. But when you see these guys live, they just pretty much take your face off. And what I was going to ask you about was they've actually done some professional recording recently. And I was hoping you could tell me about that experience, because it's kind of a cool thing. They recorded at well, you explain it.
Oh, we recorded at Expressions College, which is it's a music intern, sound engineering school. They've got really nice gear there, and what's major about this place is the people that go there are going there because, for one, they're spending the money, and they're spending the money because they want to do what they really want to do this. They really want to pursue their ideas here. So it's really beneficial when you get to go in there and you walk into what we just walked into, the TKL 9 live room, which was probably like 50 by 50 square feet.
We're talking like $1 million studio.
Like, my drumming improved just from sitting in there. Like, it was awesome. And so we got to get some really good tracks down, and a major key to that being as the drummer was 5 hours late for an 8-hour recording session, is being really well rehearsed was made going in there and being able to lay down 6 songs in 3 hours really beneficial. And especially with these guys having the gear that they have and the knowledge and the want to learn and the drive for it too.
Right, and this is literally like having a teacher in the room with some greenhorn sound students.
With some 4 lab students, 4 lab rats and a lab master, and we get down.
Is this one of those situations where they offer you free studio time so that they can practice with a real band?
Yeah, it's their homework.
Because I actually did that myself. I went through the Omega Studios recording program in Rockville, Maryland, and I brought in one of my friends' bands, Charm City Devils now, but they used to be called UXB, and they came in and got some studio time on like $1 million Neve board that used to be owned by George Lucas.
That kind of stuff.
So the same situation. That's cool.
The Neve board was from where, George?
It was from LucasArts or Lucasfilm or whatever. It actually like remixed the Star Wars music during one of the many reissues.
That was well done, dude.
So I did my final project on that board.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
guys,
That's awesome.
in all honesty, to have total transparency, when we brought Jay on the first time, you guys were the band that Jay mentioned. Actually, the only band he mentioned of guys that he knew that, on our podcast, we feature bands from around the world that, are doing their own thing that aren't signed. And you guys were the first and only band that Jay mentioned. And, he did say friends of his. Well, as guys, both Jay and you guys who are in bands with George and I see a lot of shows and we see all these opening bands. Is it hard to kind of sort through the trash being in a band to kind of be playing nice, but also like, hey man, you're kind of shitty. Like, is it hard to find that
society?
oh, I saw that coming. Well, actually, to be fair, Derek, you do need to know that the reason I mentioned you guys in the first episode was because it's just, I'm so proud of you guys, since they all have mental handicaps, that you've come a long way, you know what I mean, to have a band like
Haters gonna hate, players gonna play.
You know, when I pull up to the studio, these guys are all standing outside like a bunch of bums, and Derek almost always says hi to Sergey. He usually says, "Hey Sergey, hey Ken," then he says, "Hey Jay, fuck you," or something like that. He always tells me the first thing he does.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just feels so right.
It takes a village.
It's a certain kind of hello.
It takes a village.
Is obviously, I get all my questions. A lot of them don't make sense. They're fucking audible train wrecks for listeners of the podcast. I know you play a lot of shows with a lot of bands, just like Jay has too. Is this friendship you guys have? Is this rare to find in the band world? Is there a lot of like backstabbing going on, or is this kind of unity common with a lot of bands?
I wouldn't say it's totally common. I mean, I think that we have a special bond with Catatonic Society, like in a way that I've never felt like with any other bands. It's something that, it's been thought of before, like, oh man, it'd be cool, if we were with this band doing this kind of stuff all the time. But the way with Catatonic and with Jay and his guys, it just kind of fell together. Where it was like we were outside listening, like, hey man, that sounds hella badass. What are you doing in there? And then when we're inside playing, they're like, dude, that sounded great, man. And so it's just, we started playing shows together. And I don't know. I think it's honestly like, hey, Jay, fuck you. It's the real, like, this is who we are. Let's fucking hang out.
If I could scroll through my iPhone right here, I've said that thing like 25 times over the past week.
I get a lot of text footnotes.
It's not common because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm the best guitarist or I'm the best drummer, and it's like people tell me like, dude, you're an awesome drummer. I'm like, oh, I just practice, I'm not,
I used to be the bass player.
I used to be the bass player with my feet, But yeah, it's definitely something that you don't run into all the time, I would say.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Derek's right, though. We're all pretty laid back, too. That's the other thing. We get along. Well, we get together and socially sometimes, and we're at the band. Also, by the way, just go ahead and announce here on the podcast, we're at the starting portion of it, but Kevin and I are writing stuff to do a Slabatonic Society or Catatonic City EP we're going to do together.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, I was going
It sounds
next question.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good stuff. Time is limited, but whenever we've gotten together, Kevin and I are having a blast, and we're going to have some really cool songs.
Jay's build up there was almost like, Kevin and I are expecting. That's just as good. That's
Birthing music.
It's good.
I still want to hear the question about bands that you guys play with that you're like, man, these guys suck. You don't have to say the names of the bands, but I do.
No, but I see so many tours, and a lot of these tours, the local support. I always wonder, do they really like each other, or are they just kind of like we all have? George and I both. We do work with people who we don't like, but of course you're nice to. It's work.
Hint: it's Jay.
'Cause I will say this, guys. I brought my friend Matt on the podcast. Didn't fucking go so well. Okay.
Haven't you heard him?
Drinking.
Yeah,
Kevin listens, by the way.
Hey,
Kevin listens.
Actually, I'm a fan.
episode, yeah, so am I. I'm a fan of him too, but that episode was a train wreck.
It was. Well, to answer your question, Buke, there's definitely a lot of cliques happening, at least in the Bay Area metal scene. All we can talk about is for what we know, and there's definitely bands. I don't want to name drop, but there's certain groups of people. There's groups of people that definitely are like, we're cool, fuck you.
Yeah,
and
but they'll put on the face.
We try to be equal opportunity and give everyone a chance to be cool with us because you don't want to burn bridges in this game.
I understand.
We're trying to come up, and even with social media, sometimes you have to fan the flames out. We did an interview at Chabot Radio last weekend, and we had a fan post some little memes, and it was funny, but it was about the person putting on the show, and it's like, dude, like we get it, it's funny. But, you got to kill this shit. We're not trying to get booted from the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Hey, now I know Jay is our traveling musician here. You name a city, it seems, Jay's like, I lived there for a time. Were either of you guys anywhere else in the States playing music before you landed in the Bay Area? And I asked that because how are you finding the Bay Area metal scene compared to maybe somewhere else you may have lived?
Well, I moved out here from Arizona 3 years ago. I actually moved out here to play drums on the streets of San Francisco and make some money as a dirty hippie drummer pushing his drums on a handcart. And I played in a band out there called Caliber Red. It was me and it should have been Derek and the Old Geezers because I was like 22 and the rest of the guys were just like way older, and we always had a great time, Wow. But it's just not as much music out there. There's not, apparently there is, but it's like you got to be playing lame music to be into it, this is what, people like. We're like, well, I don't want those little teeny boppers at my show. I want people that like real music.
Of course.
And so, out there, and, I originally hailed from Mississippi. And there's a lot of music out there. I had a lot of friends out there that I would play with and jam with, and there's still, I would say not as much, unless you're venturing off over in New Orleans or something like that, and you're getting into the House of Blues circuit and other things, But as like a local musician without a huge name, other than what you've built for yourself, it's like I don't see as much opportunity really anywhere else to kind of get into something where there could be as many people interested as out here. And that's one reason why I haven't left. My mom's like, oh, you come move back in my house. I'm like, no, Mom, then I failed. I can't do that. So I haven't left the Bay because I'm like, there's these guys for one. It's like there's been numerous times and decisions I've had to make in the last year that are like, yeah, dude, you might have to move. It's like, nah, I'm in a rock band. I don't know if you understand. These guys kick ass. And I'm not leaving these guys no matter what happens. You have to cut my feet off, and I'll play better than Def Leppard.
Hey, he does got a good group of boys there too, man. Every one of you guys can play really well. Yeah, super cool ideas coming out of this band, man. But Kevin, I want to hear about you though too. Are you from the Bay Area?
I was born in the Bay and then grew up in Oregon, a small town called the Dalles.
Were you actually born in the actual Bay? Because that's kind of screwed up, dude.
It was a water birth. That's all that hippie shit you got out there.
I was like Moses. But yeah, born and raised.
I walked over that. Say it again. Where were you from? Or you moved to Dallas? Is that just?
No, it's called the Dalles, Oregon. It's a small town, about an hour and a half from Portland. You know, there's like one small town band there, and they had a song called Mohawk, and that's all I remember. It was just like Mohawk. It was just a very small town with nothing to do. You go bowling and you go to Safeway and get free cookies, and then you go find some weed if you partaketh, and then repeat the process.
Tomorrow, am I done again?
Was that one band Nirvana? I'm wondering. It's just like there was one.
Ironically enough, my friend was from Aberdeen, and his family knew the Cobains, and
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
actually met Kurt Cobain and all that.
I was at his house 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, well, like standing outside his house like a creepy
I haven't
stalker.
heard from Kurt in a while. How is he doing?
Still dead.
Yep.
But I was standing outside his house. And there's like a big wall and a gate, and you can see through the wrought iron gate up to the house. But the shot that I recognized most is the one that when he died, this was the photo they showed constantly of the house. It was of like sort of the side, and there's like double door glass doors, and you can see that from the side of the house where there's a little park and a bench, and like the bench is all marked up with like tributes and stuff to him. And I stood there taking pictures, A, feeling sleazy, and B, just sort of surreal to like be standing in the photo that I had seen so many times before.
Let me just edit that, George, and say feeling more sleazy than usual. Was there a chalk outline or anything? I mean, I'm thinking you took a picture where the feet were. Is what you're talking about?
No, but well, I mean, I'd seen other pictures that were from above, which they're like right behind where I was standing was this ginormous. You got some big fucking trees out there on the West Coast, really huge ass tree, and then there's sort of a hill that goes up, and there's like some steps. And so I think you can probably get a better view looking down on the house from there. But look at me, I'm not climbing those steps.
I'm not climbing those steps.
So George was in Seattle, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
There was a second part to your question, Buke, that I would love to hear answered, which is, what do you guys think of specifically the Bay Area metal scene right now?
You're really digging deep. If you want the correct answer is it's not. There's a lot of bands. There's a super saturated market, but there's not a lot of people that actually come out to the shows right now. I mean, there are people. I mean, there is a small scene in the city. There's a small scene in San Francisco. Modesto is dead.
Modesto.
There's a lot of doom metal bands in Oakland. I mean, there's a lot of cool bands around here. It's just there's not a lot of people that get up and get out and do it.
I don't think there's been enough metal to make them get up and get out and do it.
Exodus and Metallica was a long time ago, that when the Bay Area was really popping in 83.
Yeah, and just being like really doomy, like you're talking about, like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, I know times suck right now and gas prices are going up. But it's like, it's like you still want like a type of metal that's gonna make you jam.
Wait.
But you know what?
That was the best definition of doom metal I've ever heard. I know that gas is expensive and times are tough. You know what I mean? It's just woe is
the latest doom subgenre is going to be old curmudgeon metal.
That was so
My corns are aching.
that was beautiful, dude.
But I mean, like, that's something that we strive for. Is like, I know Kevin's all his songs, aside from going to the tempo of his blinker, are meant to make you do this, and it's like that's what people need to do when they go to a show. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to not keep from doing this, just like, yeah. And I don't think there's enough metal out there that does that, I mean, Catatonic does it because I've been there. I've done it. It makes me do this. And that's what I want to go see, and I feel like there's not enough music out there that people are like, yeah, I want to go see that. Like, they're actually doing cool stuff.
And there's definitely there's a lot of Bay bands that have a Bay sound with certain gear. Line 6 comes to mind as an amplifier company. And there's a very unique sound that comes with those bands.
We had a Line 6 guy in our band for a while, and that just wasn't going to work.
I have one of those Line 6, like the kidney bean looking things.
I had an inline 6. It's
pot,
shot.
the red bean.
Yeah.
Did you
old?
Yeah, I had that for a while. Kev, do you really literally write a lot while you're in your car? I want to know if there's some truth to this blinker thing, because that's just beautiful, dude.
No, it's funny that he like figured that out on his own. But yeah, I
Drummer.
do. There is a certain tempo range I write pretty much everything to, but I'm trying to get people to do this, and
So does that make you one of the people that drive down the street with your blinker on even though you're not turning, just so you can write while you're driving?
Get over it, asshole, if you're gonna move.
it's nature's click track is the blinker.
Nature's click track, yeah. I was listening, I don't know if it's You Have No Soul or I Stole Your Dog and I Ate It, but I was just sitting there one day in the car and I turned my blinker and I was like, oh my God, it's the song that goes with my blinker. It's the song. It's our song. I was freaking out. And I told him when I got here to the studio, I'm like, dude, did you know? He's like, yeah, I actually hear that a lot in my car because I don't have a radio. I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. The blinker is your radio.
That's funny. These are good answers, aren't they?
I have a fucking Prius, so my car seems classical music to me when butterflies and butterflies and rainbows come out whenever you
hit the gas.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right, I'm going to reel us in for 2 seconds, and I think it's time to play our first track from these guys, if we can do that. Which one is it going to be? And I'm asking you, boys.
Bath salts first.
Bath Salts and Blood.
Bath salts.
That's the studio track. We went into a studio, Orange Sky Studios, and Theo Cedar Jones helped produce the track. The track is it has some issues on a technical level, but since then, Derek the Metal Monkey has learned how to down blast. So,
yeah, this Bath Salts and Blood was recorded after being in the band with, was it 3 months?
Yeah, it was very early.
So
production.
when they asked me to join, they're like, "Hey, you play metal?" I'm like,
by the way,
yeah, I play fast. You want double bass? You want blast? Sure, I'll hit that thing really fast. So I hadn't quite figured out exactly what the down blast was. We were still working with the cross blast.
Because Derek comes from a punk and a funk.
Yeah, I was the punk who was taught the funk who really likes to play metal. So it's like,
And you know what? It just fucking struck me. Those people listening right now can't see it. Derek looks like the fucking metal Forrest Gump.
What?
When he just went running. Remember, he just let his facial hair grow out? He's like,
I just wanna run.
Yeah, I just want to run. Exactly, yeah.
Just felt
So-
like running.
So what's that sample at the beginning of the song? What's that from?
Charles Manson.
Really?
That's a Charles Manson interview.
I thought it sounded familiar.
He's going to be demanding royalties, or he's going to be fucking carving your eyes out.
Right.
Or he's going to be kissing my good smelling asshole.
I just, I watch YouTube and I'm always like searching for a new idea. And when I heard the I Roll the Nickels, I instantly knew I wanted to like use that in some sort of fashion in a song intro. And sometimes it gets a little sketchy with like legally what can you get away with sample wise. But from what I looked up, it's free public domain since it wasn't a broadcast interview.
And it's Charles Manson. So.
But there's a little line in there, when you're in jail, for a long time.
You don't drop the soap if you fucking rip the man off.
You ever heard that Offspring song? The very end of the Splinter album. When you're in prison, don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap. You have to check it out, Offspring.
That's actually the rule in George's studio too.
Yeah, it is. In general, around
We just
George,
don't have soap. We just don't have Get rid of the soap.
All right, without further ado, let's listen to the first track from these boys. It's called Bath Salts and Blood. This is Slab City.
I don't want to take my time going to work. I got a motorcycle and a sleeping bag and 10 or 15 girls. What the hell I want to go off and go to work for? Work for what? Money? I got all the money in the world. I'm the king, man. I'm the underworld guy. I decide who's does what and where they do it at. When am I going to run around and act like I'm some tea boxer somewhere for somebody else's money? I make the money, man. I roll the nickels.
All right, that was Bath Salts and Blood by my good friends and a good band in their own right, Slab City. I love these guys. You know what? We need to talk about the rest of the guys in your band. I made a mistake in not doing that first time I was on this podcast. So why don't you tell us who else is in the band with you guys?
Well, we've got Jim Reaper is our bassist. He's our Raider metalhead. And Andrew Bondison, the mad scientist, who is our growling, screaming, biomechanical genius.
Yeah.
You know,
lab tech.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he works at a lab out of SF General.
I didn't know that.
He dissects lung tissue and DNA and all that.
Creating zombie virus or something.
Yeah, so, when we do want to take over the world and then we play all of our music in the background, they're like, oh, it was Slab City this whole time, those fuckers.
You can blame them for everything going wrong.
I would encourage anybody out there to Google these guys and go to their Facebook page, Slab City Facebook. And the reason I mention this is because they are pretty much, they look like a street gang, and then they got this like GQ model of a lead singer. Andrew literally looks like the most beautiful young blonde boy you ever saw. So
they both look like they just came out of the Squatter City, Slab City.
You know about Slab City?
Oh, I know about
Yeah, I was
that.
going to ask about that. What's the name mean? I was thinking like maybe it had something to do with a morgue or something. You know, slab, being on the slab.
That's all you have.
Well, yeah, I was watching a Vice documentary about Slab City, and there was like this old dude that rolls up in a cooler with a motor in it.
Awesome.
And he was saying that Slab City was a high-tech hobo camp, and I instantly just thought, like, this is what I want to bring to the Bay Area metal scene. I want to basically tie this, like, urban warfare with something like a desolate Slab City, kind of off-the-grid, no rules, lawless, Mad Max type environment.
So, well, you got to explain. You got to explain what it is, though, dude. George, I don't think he's ever heard of it.
Nope.
I mean, Slab City is it's originally like it's ode to teachers. It's like a teachers organization. It's in SoCal, California, but really like they test rockets or missiles or some shit down here. Like it's totally desolate
all desert,
land.
yeah.
If you're tweaked out or LSD'd out of your mind, you go to Slab City and everybody's cool with you. And you eat rattlesnakes and you drive around on motorized coolers they used to have at NASCAR events. And you know, it's just really just a bunch of tweaked out crazy people.
Just lawless.
Just lawless. It's just Slab City. Slab City.
They're doing the worst job of explaining this, man. What's wrong with you boys? To tell you specifically, George, Slab City is actually like a place. Where is it, guys? I forget.
It's an old
It's in
military
SoCal.
barracks.
It's
in SoCal.
Yeah,
sorry.
right. So, yeah. They, something to do with missiles.
But basically what it is a lot of people have just gone there and just squatted on the land, and it's kind of a free for all, and nobody ever does anything about it. They're welcome to squat on that land. Government seems happy enough to let them do it. So just to add that little part of it, it's an actual real place. Yeah. And people go out there and
I didn't
live.
know I wasn't putting that across.
Sounds like a good place to do a podcast from.
You know, you did a good job of describing it. I think the history is slightly important about that. The fact that it's actually this. Yeah, but you did wonderfully. We're all gonna hug when we see each other today.
I know. I can't wait.
Are you got the and also I would just mention to Jim. So Jim is the Raiders fan, as you mentioned. He's got the season tickets, and Andrew is like a rated mountain climber. Isn't that right?
He's rated like V7s, like which you go up to like V10s. You know, it's like your hardest. Like I'm climbing upside down like a spider monkey. He's doing that shit, and that's awesome.
One-handed pull-ups and stuff.
Yeah, one-handed pull-ups.
I couldn't do it in PE one time, but he's doing it no problem.
It's okay. I was always a fat boy back in school myself, so climbing ropes, I was always at the bottom looking up.
Mm-hmm. Or holding the rope.
Yeah, so he's really cool. So when he's not, working or practicing, that's what he enjoys doing, is going out and getting his rock climbing in and, just out there keeping it raw, I guess, and thrilling.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, I'm personally sort of afraid of heights, so my hat is off to the boy.
Yeah.
So you guys got a couple shows coming up, I know. Can we talk about those a little bit? And specifically, let's talk about the festival thingy. I mean, maybe, I don't know if fest is the right word for it, but you know what I mean.
Colossal Chaos 2.
There it is.
Yeah, so that's coming up September 19th. It's going to be at Swiss Park in Newark off of Maury. That's going to be, 20 bands? Or
That's like 10 to 15.
10 to 15 bands. It's going to be a couple of stages.
2 p.m. to like midnight, $10.
We've got a show after that would be here at Annex Pro Rehearsal Studios in the live room with Hammershot, Tyrannosaurus Christ, and Arsa. And that'll be on October 3rd. And then at the end of the month, what we've got set up so far would be at the stadium in San Leandro for October 30th. You want to see Uncle Slaughter?
No.
And that would be at the stadium in San Leandro, and that's on the 30th. So those are the shows we have currently set up right now.
Cool, man. There's actually, I might have a show for you, too. There's September 20th. We're going to play at Moss Beach, and if you guys are free, I might be able to get you on the bill.
I would love to. It's my stepmom's birthday. I could ode a show to her.
Cool.
Hey, Derek, I got to ask you. We were at the Ashes of Aries show the other day, and we interviewed Van Williams, the drummer of Ashes of Aries and most notably Nevermore.
Oh, okay.
He made a comment to us that he was sharing drums with one of the local openers,
Ghosts of War.
I have to ask you, being a drummer, are you, because he was saying his toms are a little too short for him, are you really particular about your setup and how your kit is? And our drummers, does it really throw you guys off when you go in there using somebody else's stuff?
Well, it really depends on how short you are. And, it's all about that, because what it is when you're playing at such a technical, like fast level, and you've got things that you have to get done within minutes, seconds of timing, all you want to worry about is your hands and feet being able to drop. You don't want to have to worry about picking them up. You want to make sure everything is set up at a certain height. So all you have to do is, hands just go down by themselves. So the only step you have to worry about is pulling them back up and just to put them back down again. So there is like a certain level. I mean, I just had to, in our Medesto show, I broke my double bass pedals. We rocked so hard in our last song. I had to play, Fortune Cookie J. My crystalline entity says the fortune cookie is coming. It's like a 10-minute long song. It broke like a minute into the song. And so I still had to figure out how to flutter out double bass pedals while I sheared off the metal of my heel plate on my right bass pedal.
Dude. Nico McBrain style.
Okay.
Nico from Iron Maiden plays with one bass pedal. Derek is a lot of fun to watch play too. You really are, dude. He's a fun player to watch.
Derek, I'm a big, I'm separate from George and Jay on the podcast here. I bring in, the new, fresh, young voice on the fucking metal scene. I'm a big tech death guy. You can see on my shirt, Archspire says stay tech. I say that
Nice.
a lot of tech bands, it goes back and forth. Some of them use triggers on their double bass. What do you think about those and the use of them?
I think the use of doubling up a single beat with the trigger is a pussy move. But I think
I totally agree.
I think getting the sound of a trigger is badass. Because like we'll be in here playing and I'm working with blast beats and, swift double bass. You've only got so much pressure you can apply to the bass drum to be able to hear it, because you're moving so quick. You don't have time to lay down and flap all the way down on that pedal, so you got to get that extra sound just so you can hear what's happening. Because, when you're blast beating, you're bouncing off that rim with that snare and keeping it in lock with your bass pedals. You want to be able to hear all that clearly without having to slam it down, because then that's going to throw off your whole momentum, and then you're not going to be able to keep a consistent blast, stuff like that. So I think that, if you set up a trigger and you hit it once and it makes two sounds, I think you suck. But if you just, you could play with the trigger, then you can play with the trigger.
Yeah, and essentially,
just to enhance the tone. It's not like, I need a trigger because I'm not fast enough. It's like, no, you watch me. Back off. I'll take it off.
I think it's you watch these guys. They don't need it. It just what the sound they're trying to achieve sometimes is not physically possible.
Yeah,
because you're playing so fast.
Exactly.
I mean, if you heard that on a guitar, you wouldn't hear it any louder. That's where they have the volume. They turn it up. You know what I mean? And so
well,
it's just like
Slab City on the whole, I think really has always, and I think Kevin is, I think of being one of the big ones, is really embraces technology. I mean, they actually are a really raw sounding band in the one sense. It's very organic sounding. But you should see Kevin's pedal board, dude. It literally, they need to have like a separate room for it. It's just ridiculous.
We actually carry it in a separate shuttle van to our shows.
And the samples like on the tracks we're playing today, I mean, they love samples like that, little things from movies and things. There's a lot of feet moving around at a Slab City show, pushing buttons and stuff, but it's still just this raw thing at the center of it. But I love that about it, by the way. I mean, that's something Kevin does way better than I ever could. Like I'm lucky if I step on my tuner at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Kevin's hitting about as many pedals as I am when he's playing these songs, because I'm looking at him right now, and it's like I'm sitting in here trying not to fall on his pedals because they're surrounding us. If you want to know how big his pedal board is, from here to here, all back here. I barely have room for my drums.
It's pretty sad. There's pictures on the Facebook page.
But
It's
Kevin,
awesome.
if God forbid the pedal board was lost en route to a show,
oh no, don't even talk about
it. Could the show go on?
It could definitely go on. At its core, I'm basically just going clean to heavy to clean. Everything else is just lead tones. You add a delay here, add some depth, add some reverb, add some pitch shifting to simulate double guitars. But really, it would just be less like jazzercise,
it'd be even more raw.
Yeah, just the way that it was originally written on an acoustic guitar or whatever in a bedroom, just like.
And still, when you put all the pieces together, it's like it makes its own music.
Yeah,
you know?
Really, it's just giving that level of production to the audience where they're able to have that depth and tone and richness to it. Yeah. I'm kind of like old school with that, like a good tube amp and a good guitar and good hand technique, and you're gonna have like something that's like ear candy. You want to give somebody that good experience, and that's what we're trying to do with Slab City.
Yeah, he really just gets these pedals not because he's like, oh, I need this sound so I sound better than everybody else. He's like, I just want to put the whipped cream on top of the ice cream. Check this out. You know, it's just like amazing every time.
People do marvel at it, and and that's the kind of reaction we want.
That was literally a response to Derek's howl there. That was awesome.
Yeah, she does that now. She goes like this, dude. You should see her on her little drum set, man. She wails. It's great.
All right, well, not to rush you guys out of here or anything like that, but we're going to let you go about and have your day. Is there anything you guys want to kind of throw out there or talk about, promote before the... Well, actually, I have one more question. When are you going to make a goddamn record?
Really frickin' soon. The opportunity that we've gotten over at Expressions College, they definitely have room for more, and they need bands to come in there and do stuff, so we're more than willing to go back there and lay down other stuff, but also, like, you know, we just got 6 songs laid down the other night, so technically we have every song but one song of ours recorded in some form or another, so you'll hear 2 of them on this podcast being Basalts and Blood and Decades of Deceit, which was actually we recorded ourselves in the studio, and that for that song particularly, that's where I was like, okay, I am doing this down blast. This song is going to sound perfect. And we did it ourselves in the studio. But, I mean, we've got all the tracks from when we just recorded, and we've got Mike Brown that's going to be working with us on getting some vocals laid down on them and getting them mixed out right, because he actually graduated from Expressions College quite a few years ago. And
he's in a really cool band called Arsa.
Yeah, we're playing with them.
Viking metal, drinking music.
Yeah, think of kilts,
really
kilts
cool.
and face paint and metal.
It's super fun to watch.
It.
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah, I think they're playing. They're playing on October 3rd with us here at the Annex show. But he's going to help us get that production down, get some vocals put down on there, and be able to get those.
I mean, we're looking for 2016. I don't know if the full album we've done, CD package, vinyl, catatonic status, but at least get the songs digitally out there so people can check it out and love us, hate us, whatever. But get it out there.
Just get it out there to the world.
I want to kind of mention too, Arsa is actually in our complex too, our rehearsal complex. And honestly, I think one of the better parts of the Bay Area metal scene is that complex. We got a lot of good bands in there.
Yeah, we definitely do have a lot of cool, just off, different spectrums, of people and everything.
Just so we don't get in trouble with all our friends. Cool bands in the studio. Hammershot. Arsa, War Troll,
Catatonic Society,
Inferos.
What else we got in here?
What?
And
Tres Machine.
Tres Machine's kind of gone, but they were here.
They were here.
I'm trying to just shameless plug Facebook.com/Slab City Band.
Yeah, Slab City Band.
SoundCloud, Slab City Band. Check us out.
YouTube.
Slab
City. Put it's Stork Club, Roosters. You can search our different shows.
We play DNA Lounge. We're trying to get out there. We'll get Instagram and all that stuff at some point. Snapchat, studio production with the making of the album.
Yeah, we're just trying to get we're out there online, so it can be checked out in some way or another. You don't have to wait, to come see us at our show. You can get a taste of it online from different things that we've done, and you can catch live shows. Or we've played with Catatonic Society at Rooster, stuff like that. So you find all that stuff and check us out and our page.
And this is not. I'm not praising us. I'm praising him. Sergey, our bass player, is always great. He always films the bands we like, and so he's filmed whole sets of these guys. And you can go and watch several whole sets of Slab City up on YouTube, as they mentioned, and from their Facebook page. So I really want to kind of tell people, check these guys out, because they've got some cool tracks laid down already, but they're going to put together a really good record. Super fun to watch live, and really creative stuff. Really cool riffs. Great playing all around. I love you guys.
No, thank you for having us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for letting us come over and chat with you.
Thanks for joining us. I know it's extremely early in the morning for you guys. So truly, thanks for coming on. You guys do some pretty cool stuff. So thank you very much.
All right, that was our interview with Slab City. friends of mine, but also guys who just happen to be in a really great band. So I want to thank those guys for joining us today. And I actually be seeing them later today when we go out to practice. They practice right next door. So thanks for listening. I hope you guys will go check out their stuff.
So this time of year in the beer world, the fucking pumpkin beers come out.
Yum, 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 yum.
I just wanted to say I
yum, yum,
fucking
yum, yum, yum.
despise pumpkin brews. But as Will always has told us, you guys are always drinking on the pod. Mention what you're drinking. So I just wanted to let Will know that I have had the new Flying Dog Single Hop Imperial IPA. It's a nice 10%. It's really nice. I've had a Couch Surfer Oatmeal Stout. And since I always try all the pumpkin brews, just trying to see what the big deal is about, I'm about to open a Ballast Point Pumpkin Down. So that's what I'm drinking today, Will.
I'm going to suck up to Will because I'm drinking Will's very own Sessions in the Abyss IPA.
Oh, nice.
All right, let's get into some news. This first item, I speak to you with a heavy heart. Poison Black has disbanded.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, Sentenced was one of my favorite, still is one of my favorite bands. And I was crushed when they decided to call it quits. And then, of course, when Mika died, pretty much sealing the fate of any possible reunions. But I was heartened by the fact that that from the ashes of Sentenced came Poison Black. And now, after a number of...
2 or 3 albums? 3 or 4, right?
I think it's even more like 4 or 5, but I'd have to look. But after a number of quality releases, for reasons unknown to me, Poison Black is now disbanding. So,
well, you had mentioned it maybe on your Facebook page or something, and they didn't really make a statement, did they? They were just like, "That's the end of the ride."
Yeah, pretty much.
And didn't explain themselves, which they needn't explain themselves, but. Oh, it's too bad, man. It's so tough to make a go of it these days. Not that I assume that's why they gave it up. But.
Yeah, who knows?
Villa being one of our favorite singers in all of metal. Hope he resurfaces somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe this will lead to yet another band that'll be even cooler than Poison Black. I don't know.
There you go. That's a positive attitude.
Yeah. As if Sentenced or Poison Black ever had anything positive, but it's pretty depressive stuff. But yeah, we can hope. So we're going to get to this album during the new releases, but as part of the release for Iron Maiden's Speed of Light album, they also released an 8-bit video game based on Donkey Kong called Speed of Light. Any of you guys play this?
I haven't.
Really?
Goes along with the theme of the video, as we kind of noted last pod, was that the video is all about the video games for Speed of Light. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't play it, Buke.
Yeah, I played it.
You did? Was it fun?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a little glitchy, actually. You had to basically, it's like I said, it was like Donkey Kong. You have to go up these levels, up these ladders, while this guy at the top is throwing stuff down at you. And to win the level, you have to pick something up and throw it at him, and it'll knock him off the screen, and then you can get the girl and move on to the next level. And
you play Eddie, I assume.
Yes. And half the time I would pick something up, and when you pick it up, you're stuck. You can't move. And then either you get killed or you have to start over because it won't move.
What's the soundtrack?
It's an 8-bit version of Speed of Light.
Aha, cool.
Yeah.
Is it just available on their website or something, or how did you?
Yeah. If you go on I think it's on their Facebook page. If you go to Iron Maiden's Facebook,
okay,
and you can find it there. But it was fun. What little bit I could get through it.
I'm gonna check it out. That sounds like a good way to waste a few minutes.
Yeah. I actually had a friend of mine at work who's not even a metal fan. Saw that I had posted it on Facebook, and he was like, "Damn you, time waster!" So I guess it worked for him. All right, next up. This one just came out of the blue for me a few days ago. I had no idea this was coming, but Baroness is getting ready to release their new album called Purple in December, and they're streaming a new song called Chlorine and Wine.
I listened to it.
I listened to it as well. I've always felt that Baroness was more of a grower than something that I liked immediately. So the fact that I didn't hate it when I heard it, seems like a good sign to me. I mean, I was like, yeah, this is not bad. It's not bad. I'm sure with repeat listens, it's probably going to, put down roots with me, and I'll probably dig it. But, who knows? You never know.
Well, this is first post terrible bus accident release too. So, yeah. So nice to see them back on their feet. And one of those guys got his back really screwed up, didn't he? I mean, I can't remember all their injuries, but one of them I know was down for the count for a while.
One of them, George and I saw at barbecue a couple weeks ago, and he was fine. One of the he plays for Valkyrie.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know that.
Guitarists from Valkyries and Baroness.
Cool. I had no idea. Well, that's really hip. Well, I listened to it. I thought it was fine. I agree with you. They are a grower, always.
Yeah.
So, but I'll check it out when it comes out. And I didn't think the song was bad by any strange sense. So.
Yeah, I'm glad they were able to find another color to name their album.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, the last one they did yellow and green. I was like, whoa, hey, don't blow through all your colors so fast. But they found one. So I don't know. Was it like last year before? There was a video making its way around the internet. It was a sock puppet parody of Master of Puppets. It was like called Master of Sock Puppets or something like that. And it was freaking awesome. It was hilarious. They used sock puppets to mimic a show with a band, and but the best part is they rewrite the lyrics, and there's an actual parody song of Master of Puppets, and it was hilarious. Well, they're back. Sock Puppet Parody has now released a video covering Pantera's Walk. I don't know if either of you guys watched this, but
I did. It's awesome.
It is also pretty damn funny. So,
yeah, I watched it too. I think you either texted it to us or maybe you posted it on the Facebook page.
Yes,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Vinnie Paul makes a cameo in it.
Yep, it's called Sock Puppet Parody, and just type that in with Pantera and Walk on YouTube, and you should be able to find it. Check it out. So Ghost landed at number 8 on Billboard with their new album, Meliora.
It gives you a chance to tell your joke, though. How many copies do you think that was?
12.
There it is.
Although, knowing that it's Ghost, probably 13.
Did it Maiden debut number 1?
Not yet.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that yet.
I think they did.
They did in UK, but they haven't. Okay. I don't think the American chart is a known quantity yet. But yeah, UK is number 1.
Excellent. So congratulations to Ghost. That new album is pretty damn killer. I like it a lot. Much more than the last one.
I like it better after the second listen.
Yeah.
And much better than the last one. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the last episode, we talked about Wasp's new album and the song that they put out. And was it Jay? Was it you that said it sounded like Journey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've released a lyric video for another song called Scream. And I was like, all right, maybe this one's better. Let me give it a listen. And like the last one, it was competent in the style that it was performed. Wasn't really my thing. And my wife's walking around the kitchen while I'm listening to it. And she goes, sounds like Night Ranger. And she starts singing, don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me you love me. And I was like, whoa. It did. So Blackie Lawless is apparently culling 80s rock bands looking for his new songs.
I haven't heard it, and I don't want to. But I can tell you, Night Ranger represents for me one of the great bait and switches of all time. I'll never forget. Because, you remember Brad Gillis was in Ozzy's band for a while.
Yep.
He replaced Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, he was on Speak of the Devil.
Yeah, and so and I got Speak of the Devil, and then I remember reading this article, and it was like, Ozzy's guitarist is in this new band, and I was like, I'll check it out. And I'll never forget getting that record, taking it home, and putting it on, and just being like, oh my God, I do not like this. The Night Ranger record.
What's that called? Midnight something?
Yeah, it's got that in the title.
I actually really liked that album back in, 83 or whatever.
I think he's just saying the title or the opening track.
I just knew the song, Don't Tell Me You Love Me and Rumors in the Air Like a Thief in the Night.
I just thought it was going to be Black Sabbath or something, though, I should have known better.
Well, the song that I really, probably the song that I like by Night Ranger is the You Can Still Rock in America. I thought that was cool.
It's catchy.
Yeah. But anyway, not a big Night Ranger fan these days. So I may have to start replacing these Motorhead headphones that we've got in the studio because Onkyo is teaming with Iron Maiden to release Edphones, and they look they look slick.
Are they?
Yeah, they do.
Is that the same company that does the? Yeah, I saw them too. Is that the same company that does the Motorhead ones?
I don't believe so. I don't actually recall who Motorhead teamed with to make these. I'd have to go look at the box.
I'm gonna get some.
Yeah, I tried to find them because I was like, I'm definitely getting a pair, but they don't appear to be for sale yet.
Oh, they're not? Okay.
No. It was just announced at like a tech show or something like that.
They it seemed to me that they the stuff I read about it made it sound like they had a real good audio quality too, you know. So I mean, which of course they're going to try for that, but they had all these specs up there, and I thought, okay, I'll give this a whack.
Yeah. So unless it's like ungodly expensive, I'm sure I'll be getting a pair.
Hey, this next story is the one I was alluding to when you were talking about the Madonna show.
Okay.
Because it's Black Sabbath has announced their last tour, the End tour. And the reason I mentioned it was, or sort of mentioned it, was because according to Tony Iommi, they're just bringing out the whole 9 yards. He made it sound like this was going to be a super tech show, you know, all kinds of killer stuff in it. Like I really walked away from reading this little article, like thinking, oh my God, they're going to just blow the world away. You know what I mean? Like apparently they're going to have a big show. So we'll see.
Let's hope.
No, it is a fucking travesty that Bill Ward and Sharon can't patch up their fucking problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys feel that way because I don't know that we've ever talked about that. I have a real problem with that whole thing. I'm one of the guys that kind of is annoyed by that.
I have been annoyed. I'm not taking anything away from what the guy from Rage Against the Machine did, but it is a fucking crime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've heard anybody say, "Oh no, I'm okay with that." You know, I mean, we're okay with it enough to listen to it, but I think any Black Sabbath fan would rather have Bill Ward in there.
It is so. I mentioned this a few pods back, but that rift is so thorough. Go to their Facebook page sometime. They just post like old school photos up every once in a while, and he's not in any of them. Mm-hmm. And I mean they're photos that he is in, and it's just like suddenly you just don't see part of Ozzy's shoulder because they're literally cutting him out of photographs. That's how thorough that is.
That's Isn't like when Sharon was like, "Oh, well, we're just going to cut out Bob Daisley and Lee. What's his name? Kerslake, yeah, out of the first couple Ozzy albums and re-record it with the Faith No More guy and wasn't it Rob Trujillo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's exactly.
And on Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman, they just were like, well, you wanna argue with us? Okay, we're gonna re-record your parts so you don't get royalties anymore. What a dick move is that?
But I will say this for Bill. We don't know all the story. We don't know, like, of course, Bill and Sharon does.
Yeah.
But if it's what Bill says it is, I fucking give Bill credit for sticking to his fucking guns, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they haven't re-recorded the Black Sabbath albums with new drums.
It just sounds like he has never gotten a fair cut in profits and all that stuff.
And he really is unique. He's a part of that voice, you know. I mean, because he's a very unique player.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was so unpopular, cutting out Kerslake and Don, whatever his name was.
Bob Daisley,
excuse me. That, you know, there have been re-releases since then that they replaced them because I bought 2 re-release vinyls.
But if this is the final, first question: do you guys believe this is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, don't you just bury the fucking hatchet?
Yes.
Yes.
You should. You really should.
You really fucking should. Going ahead.
He at the very least, he better be on that last show. Mm-hmm. You know, and that is a bare minimum. I really do think it is though, dude, because Tony Iommi says he can't do it anymore, and Ozzy's pushing 70, dude, and he's like 65 or 68 or some crazy, and and his voice is going. You can't. There's no way. I truly believe this.
They're not like we've all seen. Priest has done like 4 or 5, farewell stuff. I don't think this is the case with them.
I think this is truly it.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, I mean, Ozzy himself retired You know, after No More Tears, there was no more tours, and he's like, I'm done. And then that lasted for like 2 years, and then he was back.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago or more.
So you hope they can fucking bury the hatchet. It's not going to happen.
You're right, dude. I think that puts a black cloud on all of this. I really do.
Yeah.
You know,
George, does this? You and I are big fans of 13. Does this mean no more records?
What do you mean?
From Sabbath.
Oh, I don't know. You know, one would think, you know, unless they're already in the studio recording and they're going to time the release of it with this last tour, then I'm guessing they're not doing it.
Yeah, I can't remember if they said anything about that or not, but...
Well, I heard that there was a green light on it, that Sharon was making it happen, so...
The record.
Yeah, but
See,
I haven't heard anything about it since. So.
Yeah, and I thought there was even some comments about the nature of it. Like, I remember Geezer or somebody just saying, like, yeah, we got a couple things together. You know what I mean? I remember some kind of quote like that.
And like he was saying, you know, this isn't just leftover stuff from the last session.
Right, yeah.
We're writing new songs.
Well, I'm glad you put that spin on it, Buke, because that's exactly how I feel about it. The whole thing is just too weird and bittersweet to deal with. It. You don't leave a guy out like that.
This is not what people are going to remember them by. Of course, they're not going to remember them by this final tour. But there are some people who have been with them from the very beginning. People have come on board at various points. If you are going out one final time as Black Sabbath, you get the fucking gang together at all costs.
Yeah.
If you have to fucking suck up the money for one cost, but again, with so many things in life, with like political views or values on things, if your morals are what they are and you feel that strongly about them, then, you know, Bill's going to stick to his guns.
It's about egos at this point. Neither side's going to back down.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, though, by the way, the door was sort of slightly left open. I do remember that. They were just sort of like, well, right now the plan is to blah, blah, blah. You know, have that dude, whatever his name was, the other guy, the replacement guy. So we'll see. But,
and think about being that guy. Okay, you want to come in with this tense, you know, situation we have here?
Scab!
What's the point even, too? I mean, he can brag about that to his friends, but they're not going to be impressed, really. I wouldn't.
Yeah. George and I are going to be there. Jay, I know you'll be there, too.
Yep. They already know.
When George, you know, they announced the dates, George's like, I'm going to Madison Square. I'm like, George, you're going to announce more dates.
Well, that wasn't why I said that, though.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I thought that was going to be the last show by Black Sabbath. I was like, I got to go to that. Yeah. But yeah, as you pointed out, they're like European shows after that, so it's not really the last show.
Yeah, there is one close to me too, thankfully. So
there's no way they don't end in Birmingham or London.
I hope so.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I hope they do that.
So there's a documentary coming out in November called The Richie Blackmore Story. Anybody going to watch that? I bet Jay will.
I will. And you know, he also just is starting to talk more about these shows that he's going to play next summer, I think it is. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 4 of them, and he's got some new hotshot singer. He won't say who it is, and he mentioned he was doing them because basically he's 70. He's about to turn 70. Yeah, I also think he had a hand in this documentary, so you can bet that it praises him.
Yeah, skewed a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all think this guy's a prick. I mean, I love. He's the one guy I forgive that for because he's just so good. But I'm more excited about those 4 shows, the concept of those 4 shows, than I am the documentary. But yeah, I'll check it out.
Jay, was his playing good for the time?
Absolutely.
But I'm saying, is it if he was to put out a modern album now?
Well, his style would be different.
Would his style be dated now? Because you know, Tony Iommi for his time was doing stuff unheard of.
Yeah.
But Tony Iommi, with what other guitarists are doing now, could be seen as simple or boring for some, you know?
Anybody that wrote something 40 years ago and you try to put them up with something now, of course it's going to sound dated and obsolete.
But he's also technically really good, and he knows a lot about the guitar, and he does a lot of interesting, strange things. So, I mean, people still think Jeff Beck is great, and I think he's like of that level, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, he's creative. He's not a shreddy guy, but he's close. I think he's the birth of shred. But yeah, I think he would, especially amongst the guitar guys. You know.
Speaking of pricks, Paul Stanley called Dee Snider a wannabe who desperately wants attention. Okay, now there's backstory here. Apparently, Dee said something about insulting the fans or something with Kiss, you know, putting on the makeup and not having the original members or something to that effect. So, you know, Dee started it, but Paul Stanley, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dee Snider is the man. He is one of my all-time biggest hard rock, heavy metal heroes.
Well, guess what? He's on the pod next week.
I wish. Oh, now that would be another holy grail one to talk to Dee Snider. Oh, my God. I'm so enamored of that guy. He's like up there with Hetfield. Dee Snider is such a stand-up guy. You know, Paul Stanley, while I respect Kiss, and he's probably less of an ass than Gene Simmons, you lost me here, buddy, because Dee Snider is one of the most stand-up guys around. I mean, where were you when the PMRC was trying to label our records, man? Dee Snider went into the hearings on obscenity hearings, and he went in there and he handed them their asses. They thought he was going to be a dumb, stupid rock guy who was going to come in and look like a fool, and he made them look like fools. He is my hero. And, you know, he's never done drugs. He's never been a drinker. He's the epitome of a stand-up guy. And I cannot stand back and not defend him because fuck you, Paul Stanley. Dee Snider is a man. He is the man.
And, you know, I love him. And I also think he's just kind of angry these days, by the way. Paul Stanley, he makes weird statements like that every once in a while.
Because he had his hips replaced. He's kind of uncomfortable. Makes him bitchy.
Hey, and he carried it on for a long time, but he can't sing anymore either. His voice is gone.
No. Yeah, can't sing.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago, something changed. But I couldn't agree with you more. Shut up, you know?
Yeah.
Respect.
So in Germany recently, there was a billboard advertising the new Iron Maiden album, The Book of Souls, and a group of concerned parents covered up the billboard because they thought it was, I don't know if it was like offensive and wasn't good for kids. And I just want to say, what the fuck? It's a picture of Eddie. There's nothing, it's just Eddie. There's nothing going on. You know, he looks sort of like...
George, won't you think of the children?
He looks like a desiccated witch doctor or something.
No,
somebody think of the children.
No. Won't somebody think of the cats and jammers? I think that's a German thing. Yeah, it's just the record cover.
Yeah. And I mean, come on. Germany's a very metal country. What the hell?
And a very permissive country in this sort of social, visual, you know... Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. That was weird.
That was very disturbing. So this is a little bit of old news now, but Motorhead canceled more shows a couple weeks ago because Lemmy just could not cut it. There was a show, they got like to the third song, and they started playing, and Lemmy was just like, I can't do this, and like walked off stage. Apparently they've scheduled some more shows now, but they canceled.
Found out it was a lung infection.
Yeah, lung infection. So I don't know. It's just... nothing but bad news coming out of the Motorhead camp.
It's awesome.
He looks bad. Ha! Well, you know, I mean, and to be fair, George, he wasn't like, I can't do this. He was like, I mean, he was just...
He did not look well.
No, he looked like he was going to fall over and die right there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look that much better when he doesn't have a lung infection, mind you. He's walking out to the stage with a stick, and that wasn't just that show. He has to walk with a cane now.
Damn.
Yeah, and I mean, he couldn't even move his... Did you notice that all the songs were like half as fast as they normally are? I mean, he's not in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to pack it in.
It would be all right.
Enjoy what's left, you know?
And I'm almost sure that he's one of these guys who said, you know, it's pathetic to see some old fart up there. So, and which I'm not agreeing with pathetic, but it's just I know he's had quotes like that. It's time to call it a day.
Yeah, but he's also said he wants to die on the road, so well, he's working on that.
Yeah, he's working pretty hard on that. Yeah, but he looked bad. And, you know, and of course, we wish him well and all that. And it sounds like he's back up to speed now, but whew, he looked bad. Those videos are hard to watch.
Yeah. All right, our last news item is one that Buke sent me the other day. a San Antonio TV personality, J.T. Street, was fired after doing a morning show piece on Gwar. Apparently, he was doing an interview, or at least showing some footage of Blothar. And if you've seen Blothar's costume,
he has udders.
It's an udder. It's like a four-pronged udder, and the ends of those udders end in, penises. And apparently, they were showing enough of him that those protuberances showed up on the TV, and it was on morning TV, and children, and so the guy got fired. Unfortunately, it's too bad that it's not surprising given the inappropriateness of that. Should never show Gwar penises on morning TV, but still, it sucks that somebody was covering metal and lost his job over it.
That's awesome. I mean, it was Texas. What do you expect?
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's terrible.
Fucking Gwar. Just destroying lives. Pitiful humans.
Yeah, it's collateral damage. They're destroying things even when they're not trying.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to our new releases.
This week's new releases, here they are. Spend your hard-earned money now.
We got some really good stuff this week. First up is Amorphous and their new album, Under the Red Cloud. Can I get a hell yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Very good album. Digging on that a lot. And I've heard nothing but praise for it, so I would expect you to see some more of that at the end of the year. Buke, you want to take this next one?
Yes, this is Black Tongue and the Unconquerable Dark. It's a album I found earlier in the week. It's just a heavy tech death metal type of band.
Deathcore.
I'll check it.
If you want to put it that. It's right up my alley, so if you like the stuff that I listen to, please check it out, because I'm pretty high on it. I'm not as high on it as Jay is on this next one, though.
Oh, Cretus, and I suspect I pronounced that right. Dux Mia Lux, or is there a way to pronounce that D-U-X? Yeah.
That's my guess, is Dux Mia Lux.
It's just these guys just kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I don't remember how I heard about this, but just this kind of weird, culty, ghosty, heavier than Ghost, though, kind of new wave of British heavy metal thrash. I don't even know how to describe these guys, but this is so catchy, super heavy, kind of rooted in the old school, and they've got this kind of weird, mysterious, mask-wearing kind of thing going on.
They got like really heads or something.
Exactly. They got a weird video. You should check them out, but I independent of that, which I didn't know any of that, the first 3 or 4 times I heard the record, these guys have really blown me out of the water. This is way up my list for top end of the year. Way up.
Yeah, I'm with Jay on this one. It's a 5-song EP, and
right.
I was just like, damn. I mean, they certainly owe a nod to Ghost.
Yeah.
But it's not like a ripoff. It's perhaps slightly derivative because of the concepts they use and the style that they play, but they own it. They take the ball that Ghost set down, they pick it up, and they run in this, kind of different direction. Like you said, it's a little heavier, but it still has that like retro vibe and the like cleaner and more melodic vocals than you tend to hear in metal these days.
Also true, yeah. It's just one of the best debuts I've heard in a long time. That's all I can say about it. I'll be honest with you. I think they're musically better than Ghost in my mind. But I love it. I love this record. It's 5 good songs that have no dead space in them.
Yeah,
a lot of cool hooks.
Stick it up next to the new Ghost, which I like the new Ghost. But honestly, I think I agree. I think this might actually be a little better.
Well, I think if nothing else, it's going to definitely be high up on my year-end list, and I can't wait to hear a full record from these guys. And they claim to be heavily ready to head out and tour, so I'm going to try to catch them if I can. Hopefully they'll make it out here. But yeah, I cannot recommend this one highly enough. Cretus Dux Mia Lux.
Nice. All right, so we talked about this one on the last podcast. We had a little deathmatch fight over it. This is the new album from Iron Maiden, The Book of Souls, and this is Deathmatch Part 2. In Deathmatch Part 1, you'll recall that Jay was alone in a corner while George and Buke pummeled him with insults about how awful the speed of light was. In this week's episode, the tables have turned. That's right. I think this new Iron Maiden album is fucking awesome.
It's great.
It is amazing. Buke is sticking to his guns and saying, nah, fuck that.
I am.
He won't do it.
He has absolutely no taste.
I suspect he hasn't even listened to it.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem is he hasn't really given it a good enough listen. So
I cannot lie, gentlemen. I've not given it a good enough listen yet. You're right.
I'm going to bust your chops, but it's tongue in cheek, so don't go and cry.
I don't care.
But seriously, and I've talked to both of you about this, and I mentioned it earlier about a foundation of metal. Iron Maiden is one of those foundation bands where when you're getting into heavy metal music, you need to build your foundation that you're going to build your listening habits on. And Iron Maiden is one of those bands that you have to have. And not that you should like everything that Iron Maiden does based on that, because God knows I have not really cared for the last few albums.
Yeah.
But when they do something good, you have to be able to recognize that and be like, yes. And it just boggles my mind that you're not drooling over it like we are, because it is so good. The opening track, if Eternity
sounds old.
The opening track,
wait, old. Like you gotta qualify that. You mean like they sound old?
Yeah, they sound old. It just doesn't have that same, like Iron Maiden does. It doesn't have that same oomph behind it.
I disagree. I think this is their best album, possibly since all the way back to Seventh Son. It's definitely the best album since Brave New World.
Yeah.
And time will tell whether I feel like it is better or worse than Brave New World, but the last couple albums just seemed phoned in. There wasn't anything catchy. There was nothing that got stuck in my head. And the opening track, If Eternity Should Fail, oh my gosh. I mean, I wake up singing this song in my head. It is so catchy, and it's just so powerful.
Also, I think if you factor in, and I mean, they do sound old. There's no question about that. But I think that the graceful or the late periods of bands, they either have a kind of grace or don't. And for me, they settle in well with their age. I can appreciate that they're doing something a little different now, but it's a lot more creative than the last few records have been, no question. It's definitely more epic and a lot of corners.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing that really has stood out to me, and this is kind of a minor detail, and that the guitar solos are all insanely cool. Every last one of them. I was like, they all feel like they're on fire to me.
It's funny because I've even changed my mind on Speed of Light. In the context of the album, I like it. And what you just mentioned about the lead work, the lead on Speed of Light is so completely different than everything else on the album. It's got this wheedly deedly kind of sound to it. I'm digging it.
I feel so vindicated right now.
Yeah,
I think it's just Brave New World to me was exciting. It was full of energy. This is just the song. It's boring.
It's not boring. You can't even use that word. It's just not boring. One of the last few albums were boring because they just didn't seem like Maiden albums. They were just kind of, like I said, phoned in. But pretty much, some people might consider this a bad thing. But listening to these new songs, you can hear Iron Maidenisms that are, you're like, oh, okay. Which one was it? I think it was the Red and the Black.
That's probably my favorite one on the album, by the way.
It's got this Rime of the Ancient Mariner thing going on.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really does. You're right. Exactly.
And so there's bits and pieces that you go, oh, that sounds kind of like this, and that sounds kind of like that. And some people can go, oh, well, that's just them not having any ideas and they're rehashing things. But personally, for me, that's putting their signature on it. Yep. And that's what was missing from the last few albums is the Iron Maiden signature.
Yeah. I think they knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. We're not going to get Peace of Mind, and that's all there is to it, but that's fine. I mean, and it wouldn't make sense if we did anyway. It would be, if it did come out now, well, actually no. But it's an older band, no question about it. It's surprising to have them do something so vital sounding to me. This is, I will acknowledge, this is the first record where I feel like you can really hear Bruce losing a step. I mean, you could before, but this is the first one where he's really starting to sound like he's getting a little older, but he still sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad at all.
I mean, compare this to last year's Redeemer of Souls from Judas Priest. It blows that out of the water.
Yeah.
You know, Priest and Maiden have always been compared since the early days. And, you know, it used to be maybe you were a Priest fan or a Maiden fan, and there was a bit of a rivalry there. And frankly, you know, if there was such a rivalry, Iron Maiden just blew them out of the water because, you know, other bands of their age are not doing stuff like this now. They just can't.
There is one band that is actually it's Saxon is still pretty vital sounding, but
fair enough.
And I mentioned that because they were kind of the big three coming out of Britain at that time, even though they ended up being the nobodies. But I agree with you, man. I mean, they set the standard all those years ago, and I think they're still bringing it. These are lame. I'm adding, I don't think, terribly good comments here, except that I find it entertaining, pretty raw in places. I just think it's, and I love to hear that Speed of Light works for you in the context of the record. Was the actual prediction I made, but I'm hoping it would be that good.
Yeah, well, I mean, my concern was that the whole album was going to sound like that, and it doesn't. It really is an anomaly. Nothing else on the album sounds like that song.
And then, in that respect, it really does work in the context of the record. It doesn't, you know, it's not some wasted space or anything.
Right.
I mean, I agree with you. If they'd done a whole record of that, I would not be interested. But
I've seen some people complain about Empire of the Clouds being 18 minutes long. Whatever. I sat through that and I enjoyed it. I mean, you gotta love epic Iron Maiden songs, and that is the most epic of epic. You know.
And you know. And Bruce's heart has got to be in that, dude, because it's all about flying.
Yeah, and it's a cool story. I mean, after I listened to it, I went and like Googled the R101 and read all about it because it was so interesting.
Yeah, hopefully, Buke, hopefully you'll take a couple real slow, careful listens to it, see what you think. You know, and if you don't buy in, you don't buy in.
I'll give you this, Jay. My first listen with the new Slayer was, we're talking about that coming up, but was laying in bed yesterday with my headphones on, and I was all in then. I still haven't done that with the Maiden yet.
There you go.
And
sometimes that's all it takes.
Well, maybe by the next episode we will be in unison and all agreeing on the same thing. We can work towards that. Well, if not, it'll be a convincing Buke.
It'll be nice to see where it lands up on our year-end list too, George, and and possibly Buke.
For a few minutes, it was like, oh, this is number one. This is number one. But I'm a little more realistic now. But it's definitely going to be on my list somewhere.
It'll be there. Yeah, it's going to be on there, and that's saying something.
All right, this next new release is one that I am particularly fond of. You'll have to forgive me, though, if I can't pronounce the band's name properly.
Buke.
Yeah. Shut up and eat your popsicle, bitch.
You know what? You should use that anyway. He actually is eating a popsicle now, but that was actually just kind of a good put down under any circumstance.
Shut up and eat your popsicle. All right, I'm going to hazard a guess. This could, the emphasis could go in many different directions, and I don't know if these CHs are hards or softs or whatever, but I'm going to go Nachachwin.
Okay.
Could be Nekakwin. Oh, that sounds bad. I'm going to, stick with Nachachwin. And if you happen to be putting together a Spotify playlist, that's Nechocchwen. Nachachwin. And their new album, Heart of Akamon. This is a band that I've been familiar with for a few years now. They have a few previous albums. They are influenced, or not, I don't want to say influenced, but they have a theme of Native American stories. They're from West Virginia.
Oh, cool.
And there's a lot of like folky Native American kind of instrumentation. In the past, it was really more folk with the occasional metal bit thrown in. But Heart of Akamon, they have really outdone themselves with like a ferocious black metal that mixes in folk elements. It is so good. So good. You should go to Bandcamp and check these guys out.
I am very intrigued. George, and I think I will do so.
You should do so.
Cool.
A topic in a people that hasn't really been explored in music, in metal.
Not much,
should say. No.
Yeah, there's Run to the Hills. There was Indians by Anthrax. And yeah.
There's a song on the Catatonic Society record called Last Stand that's about Indians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, right. It's not touched on a lot, and hey, and it's kind of metal too. So I'm totally intrigued by this. Are they actually Native Americans?
No. Well, apparently the main guy, I mean, he doesn't look Native American, but apparently he has some Native American in him somewhere.
They're Appalachian, so there's a bunch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
Let's see. Next up, we have the surprisingly swift follow-up to their first album by Nightfell. This is Darkness Evermore. I liked their first album.
Yeah, we did.
I have not had a chance to really listen to this too much. I heard one song like that they previewed like, I don't know, a month ago and wasn't all that thrilled by it. But you know how that turned out with the Iron Maiden album, so I'm reserving judgment until I hear the rest of the album.
I honestly don't know these guys, so you pushed me in a direction.
George, I'm like you. We love their first. What's it? Is it an EP or an album?
It's an album.
You and I both have it on vinyl. I just haven't found the time to dive into it yet, really. So this next one, I was browsing Bandcamp on one of my nights off, and I stumbled upon a band called Pertinence. And this is their album, To Spread the Flame of Ancients. Brutal.
Yeah, I liked this. I bought this after you told me about it.
Think of like a Death, but a little heavier. It's just
cool.
Loving this.
I just want to put it on record that, yes, Buke told me about a band, and I liked it, and I bought it. He can't ever say I never do that.
And he pronounced it correctly.
And
this was like we're off
That's
the charts.
George said it yesterday, going to the show on Friday.
Yeah, I was expecting you to say putrescence.
Or pertinence.
Yeah. Or monotony.
I will say, George has helped my grammar tremendously.
Tremendously. You used tremendously in the interview the other day. I think it was with Van. I have to go back and find it again. I was like, dude. But I didn't call you on it.
But George helped me majorly. Just fucking. But George reminded me. I think George had enough with my grammar fumbles. And it's like Buke, the whole A and. I think George was like finally blew up.
I did. I was like, dude, because you keep sending out tweets where you're like, if it precedes a word starting with a vowel, you use an, not a. And he keeps going, a element of this or a and another a word. And I'm just like, dude.
I witnessed that lesson, and it was actually fun to watch you blow your top like that. It was just like, I don't remember what he was telling us. There was something kind of cool, and you were like, just hold on, dude, back up. You know what I mean? And you just.
I basically literally schooled him in grammar on when to use this. Gave him examples and everything.
It was a long text. You really sorted them out.
But we're back on track. Oh, the next one also. I am hooked on this one as well. This one I have listened to through a couple times. This is Ramming Speed. And their new one.
Uh-oh.
No epitaphs?
There it is. Nailed it.
It's good. This is a fucking hard thrash album.
Yeah.
Actually, let me.
Really good.
I want to kind of just, clarify for people. It's not no epitaphs with a question mark.
Jay, always with the dick move.
It's more of a statement than a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't listened to the new one yet, but I reviewed their last album, and I remember really liking it. So I'm definitely, I snagged the promo. It's on my phone. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Any clue? Are they an American band?
I actually think they're from Richmond.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to answer that question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're from Virginia at the very least.
They're from Richmond. You were right about that.
Booyah.
George, yes.
Nailing it.
I am Johnny on the spot with the knowledge today.
It's like
George, going back to your Burn the Priest thing from earlier, you could have had your hand in the Richmond metal scene.
I know.
That's true. He could be telling us about this band.
I'm the biggest dumbass ever. Anyway. So, there's been a lot of speculation about this last new release here, and I think we've probably all spoken at least somewhat negatively about what we've heard so far, but I think that's about to change. Slayer, just a couple days ago, released their new album, Repentless, and I, for one, am a fan.
So am I.
And that makes a third. Yeah, we're all into it. It's good.
Yeah, I was listening to this on the beach last week, and I was like, damn, much like Iron Maiden, the last few Slayer albums haven't really grabbed me because they weren't all that Slayery.
I liked World Pain Blood, actually. I liked the last one.
It was all right, but it didn't. It didn't grab me.
It wasn't Slayer.
It didn't make me come back.
Yeah.
And we heard the first track, Repentless. We heard When the Stillness Comes, and we weren't like real blown away at first. But as I was telling these guys earlier, the album opens with the track Delusions of Savior, but that's just a little instrumental intro thing. And then it goes right into Repentless, the title track. And the fact that this song and album are named in tribute of our fallen hero, Jeff Hanneman, it just, it adds a little weight to the song in the position that it is, and I dig it. Yeah, I really like the next track, Take Control, and Vices. That was a really good one. God, like even the album ends really well. Like the last three, Atrocity Vendor, You Against You, Pride and Prejudice. It's all good stuff. And like I said, there wasn't a lot of Slayer for me in the last few Slayer albums, and I used the same terminology with the Iron Maiden. There's a lot of Slayerisms on this album. Stuff that makes you go, oh yeah, that's totally Slayer. Like,
Wait, George, you said to me driving in the car when we were talking about this, you're like, Slayer found Slayer again.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. Yeah, I'll buy that.
Like, there's a certain way that Tom sings. It's like, ba da 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 da. And he does that again. And it's just like, yeah, that's very like kind of south of heaven.
Yeah, and also going with Tom, kind of opposite of what I said about Bruce earlier, Tom's voice sounds young.
Yeah.
Sounds the same as it's ever sounded.
The whole band sounds energized, and I think the first chance that Gary got to lay some licks down helps this album take it that much higher.
Well, I think he only plays solos on it, to be fair, but which actually kind of really truly points out to you how good of a guitar player Kerry King is, by the way, because you really know he is the only one playing rhythm on this, even though I think, by the way, that was true for the last few. I think I agree with you guys. I mean, it's got a spark to it. I'll be listening to it a lot. I'm sure I'll spin it many times, and it's a pleasant surprise. Definitely. I saw them last year. I'm going to go on my way to see them again this year again.
I can't look at this album cover without seeing that internet meme. But
I know.
my little brother reminded me today and posted it back on my Facebook today. I can't get past that.
It's so funny. Yeah, a pleasant surprise. A pleasant surprise. And, by the way, just like Speed of Light for you, George, I think Repentless works better in the context of this record. I agree. Because I wasn't blown. Yeah, they all do. All the pre-release tracks sound better in the context of the record.
Yep. Even, when the Stillness Comes, when that came out, I was like, that sounds kind of slow and boring. But, when you've got a song in front of it and a song behind it, it flows. And so it works. And it brings the whole thing up.
Yeah. So cool. Hats off to him, man.
Yeah. On an odd note, this album came out on September 11th. God Hates Us All came out on September 11th. And I think that was the last album where they really sounded good. So it's cool that they kind of got back to their groove.
Yeah.
Stella's
got a groove back, baby.
Only took them 14 years.
Yeah. All right. Time for our top three. All right, so this time we're going to do our top three best album closers. Recently, we did our best opening tracks, so I was like, hey, why don't we flip this around and go to the end, because there's some really killer album closing songs out there. So
I know George is number one, and I'm going to text it to him right now. And you don't have to confirm or deny. It's just, we'll see. It's got to be. And I guess I'm probably going first because I usually do.
That's what you always do.
Let's do it. Mine's probably going to kind of surprise you guys a little bit. Diary of a Madman, Ozzy Osbourne.
Interesting.
I love that song. That's my favorite Ozzy song. It's my favorite Ozzy record. It's this weird, big, eerie song. And I think it just closes out that record in a brilliant way. Kind of a strange choice, but I love it.
Buke?
I want to mention a George thing as well, Jay. I thought I had George's number one. When George says his are all classics, I'll mention it afterwards. But George, when I mention this, you're going to be like,
Oops.
I hope you're, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many, and I didn't have a lot of time to
many.
think about it. I picked these, and I was like, oh, these are things that I can totally stand behind. I'm sure there's other ones that can probably compete.
I just want...
In fact, the one that Jay sent me is not my number one, but it almost was. It was in contention.
Okay.
And it's my number one, George, just so you know.
Okay.
My favorite album of the last 15 years or so, one of them, top three easily, off of Bloodbaths, Resurrection Through Carnage, Cry My Name.
That is an excellent choice, sir.
Fucking love that track.
Yeah,
actually.
And when you seek forgiveness, you see there is no God.
That is such a
And
good
for all
song.
eternity, you will cry my name.
That was the song that cemented Bloodbath for me.
Yes.
And you actually just reminded me of a track I should have chosen, even though it's not a Bloodbath track. But shoot, I left one out. I'm not changing now, but
All right. My number three, I'm going to cozy up to Jay and say Diary of a Madman.
really,
Really?
bless your heart. That's
I mean, like from the 80s, that is probably one of the most badass, like, even for, and for Ozzy, it's just so out of the blue left field. It's like, what the hell it is so awesome.
one of the great metal songs of all time. Dude, that's so awesome that you chose that. Super cool. And that brings it around to me again. I have one that Buke just shot up in my head. I'm not going to say it till after because it might be on Buke's list, but my number two is a band I talk about a lot. It's my favorite record by theirs, Mastodon, Crack the Sky, and it's the song The Last Baron. It's this 14-minute epic song. Just love it to death. Could have gone with the last song on Leviathan. It's just as easily, but that's one of that is my favorite Mastodon song. It's a great closer.
Buke, number two.
My boys, the band that got me into heavy metal, Drunk Matt and I. This is our favorite song to sing back and forth when we get drunk with one another. Off of Vulgar Display, this is Hollow.
That's a nice song too.
Fucking love that song.
Can't go wrong.
Nope. All right, for my number two, I actually have a tie. It's the same band, just two different songs from the same band.
Okay.
It's going to be Metallica, Dueling End Songs, Damage Incorporated, and Dyer's Eve.
Yeah, good choice. Damage Incorporated did occur to me, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, man, that song just ripped when it came out. It was like...
And it brings a classic closing to a classic record, you know?
Yep.
Good call.
All right, number one, Jay.
I would think that 50% of metalheads at least would choose this as their number one. I thought it was going to be George's. I was wrong. It's Hallowed Be Thy Name, Iron Maiden, on Number of the Beast.
Nice.
One of the great closers of all time.
I will tell you that this was originally my number one until I thought of my number one and it replaced it.
I admit, I was kind of trying to guess where you were going, but I couldn't go wrong with that one. So, yeah, totally. Just going back to listen to that record as a kid and even to this day, they play it every show they play.
Buke, number one.
I'm going to give what I teased earlier, what should have been George's number one. Because I know George loves this song. It can bring him to fucking tears. Off of their album Locust, Machine Head, Who We Are. You love that fucking song, and it's a great closer.
Yeah, that is actually a great closing song, and it definitely could have made my list.
But it's not mine. I hate that song. I hate children singing in fucking songs. My number one is like the lyrics in the song say it's bittersweet.
Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
I have that record.
So do I.
That's nice that you know that, George.
We mentioned them earlier off of, and George and I, oddly enough, saw the shirt at the show on Friday. This is off of their funeral album, Sentenced, End of the Road. to be such a huge fan of these guys, and it's probably one of the bands that I repeatedly thank George for turning me on to over and over and over again. Knowing that this was going to be their last album before it came out, and for this to be the song that they wrote and to end with, and to know this is going to be it, it's touching.
Yeah. I did go through them, and unfortunately, most of my favorite songs aren't album closers, so I didn't go with them.
And kind of a 1B with this. Also, the closing of the Cold White Light, No One There, is
that is a good one.
Is a powerful song too.
Yes, it is.
Well, I want to throw out then too what Buke made me think of, which was, and I really would have given this serious consideration if I'd even thought about it, which is Blackwater Park. That song closes out that record in a brilliant fashion.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't any Opeth on there. I think he's trying to distance himself from the Opeth stigma.
He knows something we don't know.
But George, give me some credit. That Machine Head's a great that's an amazing ender.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
You could also have chosen the last one off the Blackening too, whichever that's called. So it's got a name of a title by it's a book title. Anyway,
my number 4 was going to be "Ashes in Your Mouth" by Megadeth, but we're not doing number 4s.
Right. Well, I sort of did, but it was a 2. My number 1, similar to Jay's, like I said, "Hallowed Be Thy Name" was my original number 1. However, I remembered that the last song on Power Slave is a rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and one of my all-time favorite Iron Maiden songs.
Can't fault you for that. I'm sitting here texting George the last song on every Maiden record, but I know they're all his favorite. I know he likes To Tame a Land too. I know you like that one.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, certain bands are like known for things like, it was always, not always, but like several times in a row, Metallica would release an album where the second to last song is an instrumental.
That's right. Yeah.
They did that for Lightning, they did that for Puppets, they did that for Justice. And there's certain bands like Iron Maiden who have a tendency to write incredibly awesome album closing tracks. Hallowed Be Thy Name, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, To Tame a Land, Alexander the Great, Only the Good Die Young, I think, isn't that the closer?
Seventh Son, yeah.
Yeah, so, they're just known for writing really good album closing songs, and you could have picked any of them and it would have worked.
You could have. But on the other hand, you chose the great one, so...
Moving on, what are we listening to?
I'm going to go through my list pretty quick here. Creedus, as mentioned, love that record. Another band whose name I kind of besmirched last episode, and I didn't mean to, was that I thought I'd heard a new track from Wild Throne, and it just completely disregard what I said in the last thing, except to say that they had re-released their original EP on iTunes with one new song on it. And I got that, and it's fine. The song is great. Anyway, Wild Throne, I'm listening to that EP now. Their record's getting ready to come out. Still listening to that Cattle Decapitation. That's a good record, man.
It is.
And the Maiden. Those would be the ones most notable spinning at my house right now.
Okay. Buke?
I'm listening to a single this week, and it's got me spinning down a big hardcore vibe again. This is the single from Twitching Tongues off their album that comes out next month. This is the single called Disharmony. I'm fucking all in on these guys now after hearing this.
I'm on the fence. We discussed this a little bit the other day, and I need to hear more before I can really weigh in, because like I was telling you, the vocals, they're like kind of harsh death metal vocals, but he also brings it back just a little bit towards singing. And it has this sort of like out of key Machine Head vibe to it.
Well, say it again.
But the music behind it is straight hardcore, though.
Well, yeah, the music's good, but I'm just not sure if the vocals are going to do it for me. And so I need to hear more than one song to see what they do.
All right, I'll put it. Twitching Tongues, is that what it's called?
I sent it to you on Spotify, Jake.
You did? Okay, good, thanks.
Yep, this is Twitching Tongues and their single Disharmony. And also, I have been listening to the four-track EP from a 70s retro band, Orchid, who I like, and their album Sign of the Witch. Came out like a month or two ago.
I've got a number of them here, so I'm going to try and go through them kind of quickly. The first two are ones that were recommended to me by our listener, Gregory J. Kelly. The first one's called Arch, and it's their EP Undercurrents. It's like Funeral Doom, it's like an EP of 2 songs, really long. It's, it's cool. It is what it is. This next one, I'm not even sure what to think of this yet. I haven't been able to sit down and listen to it front to back in a sitting yet. It's a band called Crown, and their album Natron or Natron. I'm not exactly sure.
Whoa, that's the same as that. Spell it.
Natron.
Okay, no, there's a little bit different. I thought that the Erab Altor record was called Natramn, so I was wondering if that was the same. But anyway, pardon me.
And the guy, one of the guys in Crown, is actually in another band that I've been mentioning, Zato Krev from Switzerland. I believe Crown is actually from France, but as you know, they are in a proximity to Switzerland, and so Crown is it's a really interesting album. It kind of, you can't just listen to one song and get an idea of what this band is like. You just got to go on Bandcamp and listen to it. That's all I can say. It's heavy with harsh vocals. There's clean vocals. There's like droning, sort of ambient stuff. It's pretty amazing. Need to check this out. This next one came to me courtesy of our friend John. Hi, I'm John. It's the self-titled album from Archivist. It's it's black metal, but not, it's probably a little more progressive black metal. It's about all I can really say at this point. It's because it's been about a week since I've actually listened to any of it, but I wanted to give it a shout because it's actually pretty cool. Thanks for telling me about that. What's this? My next one's another one that I pulled from Buke. This is one that I found on his Bandcamp wish list that he doesn't even appear to remember. It's a band called Make, where the A is actually like an upside down V, so I don't think it's technically an A, but I call it
behind it.
It's called Make, and the album's called The Golden Veil. It's their second album. This is another one that there's a lot of like instrumental passages, a lot of clean stuff, and then they'll just out of nowhere just get kind of heavy, and it's a mesmerizing album, and I've been listening to that a lot lately, and I picked up their first album as well. You can get both of those on Bandcamp.
Buke, I saw you pimping Skeletal Remains the other night, too. That was one of my...
Dude, Skeletal Remains? Jay, I was listening to them, buddy. What a fucking... It's like a new modern take on death. I love it.
It's good. They're out in Whittier, California out here. It's just like this 4 Hispanic kids in that band. So I wanted to pimp them again while I just sneak that in, because that's a good record.
Lest Jay feel left out, I didn't put it on my list because I knew it was going to be on his, but I've also been listening to Cretus, and that is really good stuff.
I did need you to do that with me. I needed you to make a public statement of unity there.
Yes.
Against Buke, who doesn't like the record, and also, or who's not into it, we'll say. And also, it's just good. Yeah, cool. Dude, I'm so glad you're listening to it.
Oh, yeah. Now, this next one... you may have seen the guys at the Nine Circles podcast pimping this, but I did not get this from them. I found it on my own, but I do agree with them. The band Migwa from Poland and their Exercises in Futility. This is it's pretty straight up black metal, but not like the old school, too much reverby kind of black metal. It looks like it's spelled MGLA. But apparently the L has a little line through it, and according to the internet, that's pronounced like a W, so it's Migwa or Migwa. You should definitely check that out. 2 more. This one, I'm simple enough name, but I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Sator, Sator, or Sator, or who knows. But it's their self-titled album. It's a sludge band from Italy, I believe, and... I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but so far what I've heard, I really dig.
Cool. God, there's a lot of new music, isn't there?
Yeah.
New band. You can never stop
Great
finding new
time
bands.
to be a metalhead, huh?
And
it really is.
And finally, another one that I got off Bandcamp, and I believe Buke picked it up as well. It's a band called Waifed, and their album Chronolith. What'd you think of them?
We love them.
Yeah.
Love them. Which also made me, I'm sorry to be short there, but when you finish, I want to roll into another one that we skipped over.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Let Them Hang.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't say that.
I know. It just, dude, there's just so much. We've just been pelted by metal the past couple weeks.
We have.
This is Let Them Hang, and there's 2 albums out on Bandcamp right now.
They're EPs.
Yep, EPs. The one that I first was drawn to was their Continuous Public Hanging. And it has like a entombed death and roll type of sound, and I love it. So, Let Them Hang is the name of the band from Sweden.
All right, so that's it for that. Why don't we move on to our classic albums?
Okay, one of us must have said this at some point. Maybe it was even George recently, but I was listening to it this week, and I thought I'd throw it in there. Emperor in the Night Side Eclipse.
Nice.
Not me.
Not into it.
No, not into that classic black metal sound. That is, I mean, I will give him a pass on that because the production on that one is a little hard to get into. But
it's pretty bad, yeah.
But
it's great record.
Yeah, it is.
But roughly produced, to say the least.
Buke, what's your classic?
Since I've been so hooked on this Twitching Tongues single, I started trying to dive into early hardcore roots. This is the band Marauder in their album Master Killer.
Wow.
Damn.
I remember them.
There's a video of Hellfest over the summer, and Twitching Tongues is playing their new single, and he's wearing this album cover shirt. And it sounds
right on.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, I totally remember that album.
Yeah, their song Time Ends, Life is Pain, and the title track Master Killer.
Wow, good pull.
Came out in 95.
Yep. All right, well, mine, I was struggling to think of something, and then I remembered something that Buke and I saw at Soundgarden the other day.
The Pile Driver?
The Pile Driver. Actually, it wasn't Soundgarden, was it? It was at the other one.
It was the Dr. Shock.
The Shock Doctor, yeah. Yeah, this is Pile Driver's Metal Inquisition.
I owned it.
Do you know that one, Jay?
Cover I've ever seen.
I owned it when I was a kid. I even then, I kind of knew. I was like, okay, this is pretty schlocky. But but I bought it, and I know the cover all too well. Yeah,
it's a jokey kind of album. It was. I did not know this at the time, but within the last year or so, I read that Pile Driver and another band that is related, and I did not know this, is a band called Convict, that I bought the album on vinyl like in a Kmart bin in the 80s, are both bands that were put together sort of like a boy band kind of thing. Not like a boy band, but like assembled by a record label as opposed to forming organically.
Really?
And yeah, it was just sort of a record label. Let's put this together. You're going to do this. And because, it's a little backstory here. There's a song called Metal Inquisition, and it's hokey because it's about hunting down people that don't listen to metal and executing them. And it's like, we're the Metal Inquisition, something, something, something. We sentence you to death. And then
actually, I am embarrassed to say I remember a lyric from it, and the lyric goes like this: "And if you ain't a metalhead, you might as well be dead."
Yeah, and it goes.
I own that record, dude. I swear to you.
So the chorus ends. We're the Metal Inquisition, and we sentence you to death. And it pauses, and there's a guillotine sound, and then it goes, to death by guillotine. And it's so cheesy, but it's fun. And in the 80s, when you were all like poser bashing and stuff, it was fun times. You should check it out if you're, up for a laugh. All right. I don't know about you guys, but my vinyl purchases is stuffed.
Mine's stuffed-ish. So I'll just launch straight into it. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. Got a used copy of that recently. God, I love that last song on there. Please Don't Judas Me. Other good songs on there, too. Not a straight-up metal record, but it's a hard rock record. I got a 180-gram reissue of Rest in Peace. I got the first Ghost record, the same day that the Ghost record came out, which I didn't have on vinyl. I bought I don't know why I've been on a Misfits kick lately, but I got Earth AD Collection 1 and 2 and Eve Alive. I got Kiss Alive reissue. I got to at least have that, and maybe one or two other Kiss ones. And I got both of the Epic Iced Earth Something Wicked thing, which is Framing of Armageddon and Crucible of Man. Owens and Barlow doing one story together after a fashion. Anyway, and that's it. That's everything I got, but it's all good stuff.
Good stuff. Buke?
I'm having an ADD moment. I can't remember everything I've gotten recently. But Neurosis, Times of Grace, at the Revocation show, I got their self-titled. Not Metal. I picked up, we were talking about the other day, Darkness, Permission to Land. Kind of a fun little record.
Yeah.
Super fun.
I'd like to find that one.
That's borderline metal.
So I can't remember what else I've gotten. But
all right, well, that leaves me more time to go through this huge ass list.
I picked up Nasm. Yeah, we got that yesterday in Baltimore on Friday. Noisem, whatever.
Noisem, not Nasem.
Yeah.
It's a Nazem Epitome of Monotony, I think was the name of that record.
Yeah, no, it's Noisem.
Okay.
And which one? Did you get them both, or did you just get Blossoming Decay?
Blossoming Decay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I might as well start there on my list. I also got Noisem. I got both Agony Defined and Blossoming Decay. I got the new Iron Maiden Book of Souls 3 LP.
Awesome packaging.
Yes, so
beautiful.
So nice. I got the CD version too, so I could rip the flag. That is also packaged well. I got the Ackercocker album, Coran Zone. I think is how you say it, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. That's Spanish. I think it's Spanish for devil.
Yes. Finally, this album came out last year, but they just finally got the vinyl out for it. This is a band that I really enjoy. They were high on my list last year. Take Over and Destroy in their latest album, Vacant Face. This next one is a band from Michigan. They're called Ifing, IFING, and their album Against This Weald, WEALD. I think it's supposed to be sort of like World. But this one, I've been looking for this one a while, for at least a year. And I finally found a copy. And the reason that it was so hard to find is there's only 70 copies printed of this. So this definitely takes the cake for one of the rarest to be added to my collection. And for less than $100. So, nice.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
The next two, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Mirkur.
Point loud. You don't know how to say something.
Oh, yeah. I say it all the time. There's so many things I can't pronounce. But not normal words like epitome and monotony.
That is how I would pronounce it too, so we'll go with that.
Mirkur.
Yeah.
I got both the self-titled EP and the new album, M. The new album I got in Seattle while I was out there, also with my next one, which is Chimera by Mayhem. Then I also got the new Wolfheart album, their second album, Shadow World, and Get Ready to Cry, Buke. I also got Cult of End Time, Internal Lights on vinyl.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Oh yeah, what's the deal there?
You just got to go to their label.
That's
Svart.
That's on One Way Street label.
It's on
One
Svart.
Way, baby.
What's that mean?
You didn't even tell your friend?
No, because I wanted to surprise you. You can order it anytime.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I didn't even know it was coming on vinyl.
No, it's been out, but it's a small label. They're like a Finnish label.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And of course, I got my Throssenblot Canada 2010 finally. Loving
How did
that.
that turn out? That was good?
Yeah, it's nice. And another album that almost made my top 10 for the mid-year, but just got bumped at the last minute. This is the avant-garde metal band Soulfald and their latest album, World Metal. I recommend checking that out.
Is it Dahlheimsgard weird?
It's a little weirder. It's a little weirder.
That is the standard right there too, dude. It really is.
Yeah, no, it's cool like that in that it's unusual, but it doesn't go so far afield that I don't get it. So I like it a lot. I also got the new Ghost, Meliora, the new Ahab, the Boats of the Glencarrig.
Is that this guy's blue splatter?
I got the blue and white splatter, yeah.
And mine's not showing up, Buke, for some reason. I'm going to have to go talk to Napalm Death or Nuclear Blast or whoever it is because I haven't got mine yet. I haven't got my copy.
Yeah,
and it was. I thought it was from the American store, if I remember it. I don't even think it was the German store.
I think it was. That could be why. It could be that it just hasn't released yet in the U.S.
I'll look and see.
Because I ordered it from Germany, and so it just may have. They may have gotten their copies first.
Jay, as much as George has mentioned in the past, when he got his Book of Souls pre-order, it was priced at $13. That's what he ended up getting it for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear the end of that story.
The CD costs more.
Yeah, I paid $18.99 for the CD, but only $13.99 for the triple vinyl.
That's awesome, dude.
All right, we're getting there. I got the new Lamb of God, Sturm und Drang. I got the latest Ilsa album, The Felon's Claw. And then I got, I also got Nails, Abandon All Life. And then I got a couple of more old school albums. I got Europe's The Final Countdown because it's the final countdown. Go on.
George looked at me and says, don't say anything.
I was like, yeah, you got to love that song.
I have pride, yeah. Have your pride.
And I also got the self-titled album from a Japanese band called EZO. Do you remember them, Jay?
I do, absolutely.
They were like a Japanese Kiss.
Yeah, and I never would have known to say, honestly, I never would have known if it was EZO or EZO or whatever. I never really knew what to say about it.
I saw them on Headbangers Ball, and they said EZO, so that's just what I call them.
Yeah, I totally remember them. Yeah. I remember Loudness, too.
Yeah, I felt like they were sort of an answer, or at least a follow-up to Loudness, in that, oh, hey, Americans like Japanese heavy metal bands. Let's do this. It was like produced by Gene Simmons.
EZO is?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
I was never a big fan, but I'd always looked for this album, and I'd never seen it before, and I found it at Shock Doctor, so I grabbed it.
Cool.
I also got 3 of the cool album cover-looking albums from Y&T.
Oh, right on.
Got Black Tiger, Mean Streak, and In Rock We Trust, with those like cool 70s, 80s robotic-looking album covers.
I know them well. I like Y&T. And I like all those records.
Yeah, good stuff. And my last one is one that I'll be surprised if you heard of him. Let me see if Jay knows who this is. It's a solo album by a guy named Kerry Livgren.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
He's apparently a guy from Kansas, like the band Kansas.
Oh, all right.
And the reason I got this, I saw the album in Seattle.
You may know him, Jay. He's a wayward son.
Yes, he is. Well, what made this album special, I didn't buy it in Seattle because I wanted to hear it, but there's a singer that guests on this album on a couple of tracks. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name was Ronnie James Dio.
Really?
Lost Dio tracks.
Wow. How old is this?
Shit. I think it's...
Like old?
Yeah, I think it's like early 70s.
Okay, yeah. Like...
Wow. Or like mid-70s. Like possibly pre-Black Sabbath.
Dude, that's a find. I didn't know that existed.
I didn't either. And so I bought it for like $5 on Discogs. And, just so that I could have these... He doesn't do the whole album, apparently, but he does
How
like...
did you
at least,
find out that he was even on that, George?
There was a sticker on the front, of the album. It just said, featuring Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, but how did you know to even look at that? Because how would you start to browse and find that?
I was flipping through it. It was in the metal section at that... Remember when I sent you a picture that I was in a record store in Seattle?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a metal bin, but it wasn't very metal.
Okay.
And it was full of stuff like that was just like weird. And I just happened to see featuring Ronnie James Dio, and I was like, wait, I've never heard of this. What is it?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, interesting, though. I wonder if that guy was somehow involved in Elf or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our deep tracks.
Deep tracks. I chose Ozzy a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing it again. And I don't know why. I just want to kick. I like those first 2 records. But I never hear anybody talking about this song. It's off of Blizzard of Oz, and it's called Revelation, Mother Earth. God, it's a good song. Probably the best song on the record.
Mother, please forgive them.
Right?
They know not what they do. You're the singer. Why am I singing?
That's good. That's good stuff, dude. So, yeah, that's my track.
All right. Buke, deep track. Got one this time?
Of course I do. From 1986, off of Pleasure to Kill, This from Creator. This song hits you right in the fucking face, runs over you, keeps on going, carrying.
Yep.
Right on.
I must listen to that record 1,000 times as a kid. Buke, you're letting me down, dude. There was one that you've been meaning to do, but you haven't pulled it out yet.
Yes, I'm going to pull it out right now, Jay. Thank you. This is not a metal band, but I think this is a metaler heavy song. I mapped that word metaler.
Metaler. To be more metal.
I play this all the time. It's my favorite song by the band. This is my deep track, my favorite track by the band. Aerosmith, Kings and Queens.
Kings and Queens and Guillotines.
Right? That is their metal song, too, isn't it? I mean, when you say, George?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I love that song.
He said it was one of his first ones he wanted to pull out, but he didn't think he should. But I was like, yeah, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, well, I'm going down the Ozzy path, but in a Sabbath sort of way. This is probably my favorite Black Sabbath song. It's from Master of Reality. This is Solitude.
Oh, dude.
It's the most unmetal song Black Sabbath ever did. It is so beautiful.
It's, we were talking about Sabaton a while back, that Estonian band or whatever that did that. And the best song on there is their cover of Solitude, which, by the way, Solitude is and that's a great song. It's that like medieval thing they do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking of somebody else. Okay.
That's I love that. And there was Planet Caravan too. Oh, it's real close to that too, you know? Yeah. And actually Planet Caravan is the one in the Sabaton. Dude, that's a good choice.
Right on. All right, well, that brings us just about to the end of this episode. But before we get into the last bit with Slab City, make sure to check us out on iTunes, subscribe, give us a review, give us 5 stars. We would really appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. I'm Disciple OV Metal.
I'm Opeth fan.
Catatonic J. He always says that with stuff shame, doesn't he? I'm Opeth fan.
I was trying not to be. I was trying to jump in and say something else. I just didn't want to be rude. I wanted to say the feedback and the response we've been getting from listeners and fans over the weeks has been growing, and I know we're all thankful.
Yes, totally appreciate it, like in the biggest way.
Totally. You can also check us out on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher. And, of course, you can listen to us on metalheadspodcast.com. All right, I'm going to let Jay move on into the last bit with Slab City. We'll see you next time.
It's time to play our second track from Slab City here on the podcast today. And so before we go into it, we're going to have Kevin and or Derek tell us about this track a little bit. What do you got, boys?
Well, this is called Decades of Deceit. In a nutshell, this is about kind of like overtones of how Illuminatiism has overtaken a lot of a subculture of America. And the whole idea of the song is the lies have not started recently. There's lies that go back for years and years and years. So it's kind of just like this notion of where does the truth begin and where does the lies end? And that's what Decades of Deceit conceptually is about. Lyrically, I have no idea what Andrew the Mad Scientist is actually saying in any of our songs. But
I know in the beginning of one of our live albums, he says that this is about the alien drug overlords trying to withhold or overtake the government.
So he's been hanging out with Matt Pike.
Yeah.
Matt Pike is a conspiracy theorist now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he does relate, because Kevin will come up with an idea for the song, like this is Decades of Deceit, you know what I mean? Can you kind of shoot out some lyrics with around this ballpark range, this idea that we're going for it, and he'll do that.
Extrapolate upon the idea.
Yeah, he'll do that very well.
I kind of want to mention too, and I mean this in the best way, but one thing we really didn't talk about your band during the interview is there's also at least a little taste of sense of humor in Slab City, which is great. I mean, I love that. They sort of embrace the cheerier side of life, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's not sad.
You can look at the song titles. I fucking love them.
There's definitely a dark sense of humor, because the idea kind of conceptually is kind of like 30 years after an apocalypse, people have nomadically joined into tribes. Slab City, zombies and all this other like mutated stuff. It's easy to like conceptually be like I'm fucking Slayer, everything is evil. But it's like kind of like that movie The Road, where it's like kind of like a sorrowful idea of like desolation. But then we're kind of twisting it and making it like some thematically fun and evil, and bringing the party back to metal at least a little bit in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and that is. I love that movie. By the way, that's a great movie, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely like a hyphy metal, you know, like we were saying. It makes you want to dance. You know, we're not just trying to be like, oh, you know, pillage towns and throw babies in fires. It's like it's like we're
kiss a baby,
kiss a baby, and then rock the hell out. You know, I'd maybe listen to some Arsa afterwards. You know, go do the thing.
Well played, dude. So without further delay, then here's Slab City with Decade of Deceit.